This is Brian Slagle from Metal Blade Records. You're listening to Tom and Zeus on the Shout It Out Loudcast.
Oh, boy. Here we go. This is Gene Simmons. Put that cookie down. KISS. Stop pressing the button. Stockbroker Simmons. Star? Stanley. Is that what he does? Stop shouting. He's not what you would call a handsome man. Here come the KISS times. Is that a positive thing? Okay. All right. I'm going to grab me an ice cold mellow alcohol. Why? Why do that to the fan? Stop it. Why? Because fuck them. That's what I'm talking about. 617-525-0850. You do? Hey, fucko. Do you like KISS? Settle down.
Hello. Hey, what's up there, KISS Army? Tom and Zeus, another episode of Shout It Out Loudcast. Episode 386. 30th anniversary of MTV Unplugged with Bruce Kulick.
Hey, guys. Yeah. This is great. We've been working on getting Bruce in here for a while. Obviously, some health issues. We'll talk about that, but you guys are going to love this. Bruce is always incredible on this show, so excited to have him.
Yeah, so we are going to have Bruce on to talk about 30th anniversary of MTV Unplugged. Super excited about that. As Tom said, Bruce, obviously, we all know about his health issues and stuff, so we planned this accordingly, and he just so happened to fall in perfect timing for us, so super happy about that. But Tom, last week, it was tour time.
It certainly was. The world famous and now legendary Sonic Boom Over Europe tour. Let's talk about some polls here, as we always do. First, we go with our Shout It Out Loudcasters Facebook group. The poll was, which song from the Sonic Boom album would you have wanted to hear on that tour? And the options were Never Enough, Stand, Dangerous, oh God, or When Lightning Strikes.
I'm already laughing.
Thankfully, everybody got the correct answer because Lightning Strikes is the right answer, and that won at 46%. Dangerous, which I like, 20%. Never Enough at 18%, and then thank God, I can't believe it got 16% of the vote, was Stand.
People are insane. Stand was number one by far.
Oh, God. Our buddy Tony Smith, When Lightning Strikes, with Dangerous a close second. For me, Dangerous is a sort of a fun song. I picked Lightning because, in my opinion, Eric and Tommy tunes trump the Gene and Paul songs on both Sonic Boom and Monster. Ugh, I don't know if that's a compliment or not. Zeus, you'll like this one. Our buddy Julian Grandison, Stand, obviously. Zeus's take on this song is 100% correct. Tom's take is horrific.
Comment of the year.
Yeah, right. Oh, wait.
Comment of the year.
You'll like this one. Keith Bennett says, Stand, tards. This is our time. Unite and vote. Kyle Schneider says, I'm an Animal is tied for worst song. Dangerous is equally bad. They should have rotated songs. Their inability to change is literally KISS's kryptonite. Anthony Stockham, should be comment of the week. Tommy has the best songs on Sonic Boom and Monster. You are so right. He does. I love both of those.
Other than the original singles that came out?
Yeah,
I would say, yeah. See what I did there?
See what you did there?
Oh, yeah.
A lot of KISS fans aren't the brightest people in the world.
Very true.
Thanks, Ace.
All right, Zeus, get the clip queued up. Our buddy, Shout It Out Loudcast Hall of Famer, Jeff Trott.
Oh, no.
Guess who's back in the motherfucking house with a fat dick for your motherfucking mouth?
He says, just look over your shoulder. Yeah, Stand. Fucking brutal. Come on, Jeff. Jeff, don't be a goof.
That's when I was young, I only wanted to listen to the KISS song Stand. Jeff, don't be a goof.
Trey Varn says, with the exception of Modern Day Delilah, terrible album. All right. On the Twitter poll, kind of the same. When Lightning Strikes wins the poll here, 35%. Never Enough at 26%. Dangerous at 21, Stand at 17. Oh, God, it's the Stand.
So 16 and 17% they got. Yeah,
pretty much. Any comments here? Yes. Our good friend John Restano. When Lightning Strikes gets the vote. Great riff, cowbell, and vocals. Lone Star Wolf says, things that will always make me laugh when I listen to your podcast. Any Ace soundbite, you two doing your Ace voices, Paul saying prosciutto, and Paul saying fuck off.
Fuck off!
Ken and Satan Service said, looking at the choices reminds me of how much this album sucks. I swear to God, people forget how bad that album is.
Oh, stop. That album is awesome and underrated. However, could you imagine if Paul had to sit in the back of a room
and listen to this?
KISS Vegas, we recorded an episode and we read the comments that came up in our group.
He would need 2 therapists.
Oh, my God.
Oh, God. Our buddy, shouted out Loudcast Hall of Famer Izzy Presley, just shares a gif of good old Jim Florentine just saying no. And I'll end with this. Eric Mousseau says, I'm going to go with none. So a lot of people have some strong opinions on that album, Zeus. But there's the poll for the week. Let's throw it back to you.
All right. I'm going to start doing a new thing, Tom.
Uh-oh.
And before I get to the episode post, if there's something like interesting happening on our Facebook group, I'm going to start talking about it. Aaron Neerberg put up a comment, and I put up this post earlier myself, and we'll get to it in the news section about them spending like $200 million to build this auditorium for the avatars.
Yep.
What the fuck happened here to longtime contributor and Patreon member Chris Hall? Fucking lost
he may have had a mini stroke. I feel like giving him comment of the week, even though it has nothing to do with the episode.
Paul Stanley, as though Paul is there, like on our page. Are you now claiming your shitty avatars will be considered live music? You've gotten over on people for so long with your bullshit tapes and tracks that you think avatars in capital letters will be considered live. You stupid fucker.
It gets better.
I challenge you to a fist fight right now. You little pussy.
What does he call? He calls him a little pussy. It still gets better though.
Oh my God! You
can't even get through it.
You melted candle wax face. Need to get on a horse, ride into the mountains, and leave people alone. What the fuck, dude?
Now, we don't usually put comments in the Shout It Out Loudcast Hall of Fame, but we might have to create a new category this year.
John Thomas, like, dude, you want to fight a 75-year-old man? Hope you don't work in a rest home.
Dude, melted candle wax face.
Oh, my God. Oh, my God. If Paul ever heard this, fuck off!
It would be worse than fuck off.
Not to be outdone. Tom.
Here we go.
We're going to find which one it is. So, friend of the show, Tim Mangione, like, I want to let you guys know, he is our friend.
Yes.
So, he sends us these photos. And as kind of a goof, I put him up so that he gets these comments. And usually Tim is in on the joke and he giggles and laughs. People say he's stalking Paul and shit and have some fun. Well, the old curmudgeon came out of Tony Musalem and he made a comment that got 17 replies between him and Tim. Tim, dude, you aren't even a member of this group. Why do you keep spamming us with photos of you stalking Paul? Oh, those are fighting words to Tim. By the way, you guys should check out Tim's OJ page. He followed that trial. He's considered like an expert on the OJ trial and everything. He's been on shows discussing it. He's fucking knows everything about it.
I got to tell you, I'm fascinated seriously by Tim's Facebook page. He posts pictures of him standing in famous locations. And I love it. I mean, between those location photos and him stalking celebrities while they're grocery shopping, I fucking love it.
He's in an area where a lot of celebrities are.
Yeah.
He knows them, and I'm not going to give away what he did, but
no,
he had a profession where a lot of them were using him and became friends with them. So if you look at his Facebook page, it's full of celebrities.
Yeah.
It's him always doing it. Like he's so good at it that he makes Joe Morris SOIL security look like Tim Mangione with all his stalking photos, because he's up there too. Well, Tim didn't take too kindly to Tony's comment.
I loved it. Fucking beautiful.
I'm not. You really don't know what you're talking about, because these dudes are good friends of mine. I am a member. So why don't you go fuck yourself and fuck off?
How does Tim not know Tony? Tony's been on the show, ARC. He comments all the time. He's made them. They're both. It's fucking.
And I would say, how does Tony, who listens to the show, not know who Tim is?
Oh, I think Tony does. I think Tony's just fucking with people.
I was actually asked to share my pictures.
I don't know about that.
We just put him on because he's our friend. He wants to put him up. It's interesting shit, and it does become funny. Oh, here's another photo Tim's got, right? It leads to this interaction. If anything, Tom, we got this out of it.
Dude, people are losing their mind. I'm telling you, the KISS world is fucking having a breakdown right now.
Dude, there are fucking insults going back and forth. Did you ever see that meme or video of those two dogs talking? Those two Indian guys.
Yes.
Fuck you, son of a bitch, fuck you. That's what this is.
Dude, you got fucking Chris Hall challenging Paul to a fight. You got Tony and Tim getting ready to go at each other's throat.
Oh, my God.
Maybe we just do celebrity deathmatch Loudcast style.
Anyways, we did do an episode. I should be reading the feedback, but I had to get to this stuff. I'm sorry.
Look, let's be serious. This is more fun than fucking Sonic Boom over Europe.
And let's be serious. This shit don't happen anywhere else.
No. And also, let's be serious. Tony and Tim are both of our friends and friends of the show. So if you guys want to fight, have at it, but we love you both. So
yeah. Want to fight somebody over a belt buckle? On our Facebook page, Tom.
Yeah.
Hall of Famer Izzy Presley.
Again?
Wait, Zeus is going to Greece. Does that mean I'm guest co-hosting? Is he going there to star in a remake of Clash of the Titans?
Ooh.
Tom, do you want to continue the show with Izzy Presley as your co-host?
Instead of you, hell no. But I Izzy and we all have the same sense of humor. I could deal with Izzy for a little bit. Maybe. I don't know. If he's going to eat fast food while we're recording, I don't know if I can do that.
Yes, I am going, and we are going to magically make this work like we always do, because we do it for you, the listener. I'll just have to keep it down so I don't wake up the village at 1 a.m. in the morning when we're recording, talking about fucking the shoelaces on Paul's boots from the Hottest Show on Earth tour.
When you say wake up the villager, you mean Thanos, right? Oh, God.
I wait for somebody goes, he didn't have shoelaces on his boots in the Hottest Show. Show Kiss Tard some respect.
Exactly.
The great Steve Warsap went to a couple shows. The tour opened at Sheffield and a few days later at Birmingham. It was all a bit ho-hum.
Oh.
If I remember, Eric fired a bazooka out from behind the drum kit. That's what I was talking about, that Eric was shooting shit too when I mentioned on the show, because I saw
they were throwing things at you.
Yes, because he used to wear little tight shorts on the job and whatnot. It says here plastic. No, plasterer.
What's this about plaster?
Because Eric used to wrap his friends up in plastic and beat them with this drumstick for a nightclub gig.
What's the matter with us?
Yes, that's a Jerky Boy scene.
Poor Bruce. Every time we have a big guest on, we end up just losing our shit during feedback. I love it.
People are like, oh, let me tune into this. They have Bruce Kulick talking about Unplugged. What the fuck is this?
Do you guys even like Kiss? Like,
hey,
no.
This is the shit that we do, and this is why we're number one.
Yep.
The number one Kiss podcast. Fucking been that way for years. Sorry, we're not talking about fucking Kiss pencils this week.
Oh, maybe.
Or fucking Vegas event for the 100th time already. Anyway, let's get back to Steve and his porn. I mean, his post. I was reading an old classic rock Kiss special magazine that was basically all of their Kiss features put together. One quote from Paul made me piss myself.
Uh-oh.
Asked about the reunion, he said, it was a shame to have to do tour after tour where we couldn't change the songs because the hard drive was full and you couldn't add any memory to it.
Oh, wow.
How about fucking coming back and biting you in the ass?
Imagine that.
What was the excuse the last 12 years then, Paul?
I know, huh?
Thanos, barefoot and pregnant, Greek thunder from down under, Horiati Akratides. What does he do, Tom?
Kyar! He swoops.
Currently flying over the Aegean, picking up some fish with his feet.
The Aegean. Jesus Christ.
In the Ionian Sea. This was a reasonably successful tour. I have the video of Rock'em Ring from Germany. I would say one of the great concerts on video I have from that era. Dude, is there like a competition from that era? Jesus. Paul's voice was still there, but from this tour on, it started to go downhill. Kiss were starting where W-H-E-R-E, I can't fucking read this guy. We're starting to get bigger in Europe. The later years of their, T-H-E-R-E, existence playing bigger venue and in more countries than ever before. They even went to the motherland, Greece, for the first time. Wow. And Germany being a major stronghold for Kiss with multiple tour dates throughout. Zeus, when you go to Greece, are you going to be doing a live broadcast from the Acropolis? Yes.
Ooh, that would be pretty awesome, actually.
And then you're going to swoop down in the middle of it and land on my arm like a falcon.
Jesus Christ.
God bless him.
I love it.
And then the great John Punaras, he's from the Greek KISS Army. We met him at the Vegas event.
Yep.
He had a yes and a big Greek flag there. John Harriman loves to put up fucking Doc McGee teeth photos. Anthony, don't call me Mike Hunt. Dear Tom and Zeus, I just finished listening to one of your greatest rants ever. It was a world-beating, take no prisoners, king of rants. But I'm worried. Do you need a hug? Nope. Nah, I love your no-holds-barred attitude to the shit side of the mighty Kiss. I'm going to tell Anthony right now, I have no idea if we did anything ranting last week. Because what we do is always organic. It's like, I don't remember, did we?
I'm sure we did. That's all we do.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, honestly, I have no idea. Jeremy Saborin. Currently listen to the KISS Vegas rant, I guess it is. And it's 100% on point. I'm still debating whether or not I want to go based on the ratio of cost to value. It is not cheap to do this kind of stuff. And for whatever reason, the band simply isn't interested and doesn't understand what the majority of KISS fans want. Yeah, but I thought they hired people to tell them. Those experts. Right?
They should be pleasing all the fans.
Yeah. They have a lot of say in everything.
Yeah.
KISS isn't the juggernaut it was back in 1996 during the reunion tour, but I'm not sure if they realize that or not yet. They've become a niche band that only a select audience will shell out this kind of money for. Well said, my friend. I love the band, and more importantly, I love the music. Thank you.
Yep.
Everything else is secondary. I want to go to an event to see my favorite band while they're still able to perform. I don't want to see Paul Cook, Tommy play with a karaoke band.
Yep.
This event should feel special, and it doesn't. It didn't seem special last year either, which is why I chose not to go. I know it's not really worth getting worked up over, but because this is just the reality of being a KISS fan at this point. Either you shell out the cash to see them or you don't. I'm sure I'm not alone in debating whether or not all that cash is worth it just to see the same old stuff again. Also, are they even playing an acoustic kickoff show this year? They're not. I heard it's all electric, 2 electric shows now.
Oh, shit. I didn't even think of that. That's right. Because they did that on the lawn last year.
Yep. It's 2 electric shows from what I understand.
Oh, God.
I could have sworn they said they were an early promotion material, but now it just says 2 KISS shows, which makes me think they're going to plug in for the kickoff. I agree. I think it is that way.
Sorry, I was going to say, and the lawn is shut down, remember? So maybe that's why.
Yeah. Jeremy, I agree with what you're saying. The way I look at it like this, nobody can tell you whether you should or you shouldn't do it. You've got to figure it out. But I look at it as like the thing that we talked about, like sports owners. You keep paying them, they'll keep doing the same old shit. You vote with your wallet. Are you really missing out on that? Are you thinking like if KISS stops performing, the one thing you're going to regret is that you didn't go to the KISS Vegas event? The only things you would regret is, hey, I could have seen KISS in 1979 with the original band. I could have seen KISS at the reunion tour. I could have seen KISS at Palladium with Eric Carr. I could have seen KISS, on the End of the Road tour at least once. Things like that I get. Missing KISS on their second landlocked in Vegas KISS cruise is not fucking something to me that if it's a financial struggle, that you should be fucking even losing 1 ounce of sleep over.
No, and it's not like the cruise. I could see people going on repeated cruises like we did because it's a cruise. You're getting you're getting a vacation out of it. We went to Belize one time. We went to Mexico. We did all these different things, and we had a ton of bands. For the cost of it, that's the problem with Vegas. I don't think that the Vegas thing is necessarily a bad event, but the cost benefit analysis, if you want to say it, it just doesn't add up. It doesn't add up.
Nope.
And that's the problem. If this was a more affordable thing, I'd be like, yeah, why not? Couple days in Vegas, KISS, Rat, Bruce Kulick, couple things, why not? But for the price and the airfare and the meals that you have to do.
And you don't even get to meet the band.
Correct.
It's not like there's 7,000 to 10,000 people going to this.
No.
There was only a couple thousand. And I'm paying all this money and I don't get to get a photo with them or get an autograph thing with them or nothing. No. Come on. Come on.
The financials of it just don't add up.
Especially when they used to offer this in the earlier KISS cruises. To me, that's a slap in the face. Come on.
Yep.
Anyways, great comment there, Jeremy. Matt Vincente says, I saw them on the U.S. leg of the Sonic Boom tour. That was the first time I noticed there was a problem with Paul's voice. I hadn't seen him since 2004, so I was shocked at how much his range had deteriorated. Yeah, there's always people that pick up stuff on these tours now after 2000, like when did Paul's voice start going? So it's always interesting. Anthony Stockholm says, hearing that episode doesn't make me feel bad that I stopped seeing them live in 2000. I hadn't missed anything.
Yeah.
Let's go to our group page because she's into the group thing, Tom. Strolling through, I see 500,000 photos of Tim Mangione and Paul Stanley. Jesus Christ. Now I get fucking Tony's comment. All right. Mike Throne, another great show, boys. Glad you guys discussed the landlock event from the point of view that many share. Who really wants to spend that much money to see Julia Starchild in action? The Gene event is the only remote compelling add-on to me. When is the last time the band honestly said, listen to the fans and gave them what they want? 1996? Oh, again, what did we just say earlier, Tom?
Yeah, I mean, they hired the experts, so I don't see the problem. Everything should be going swimmingly.
KISS wants to give everybody a coloring book for coming. Fantastic, then. Alrighty, then. It's like fucking Tommy Boy. And they're not going to disagree, right? We're not interested. We won't take no for an answer. Alrighty, then. Right? That's basically what it is. So, John Hall of Famer Whiteman.
Uh-oh.
It's cool that they played new songs on this tour, but I wish they would have played When Lightning Strikes at least a couple of times instead of having Tommy do Ace's signature song.
100%.
Now that I've been enlightened to what KISS fans really want to see, I wonder if they could have filled the venues better if they paused the show mid-set so Paul could teach everyone how to cook Brussels sprouts. Cook with the Star Child, Tom.
Ugh, give me a break. God damn it.
Got olive oil here. Put a little in your pan.
Yeah.
And you want to throw in your prosciutto.
Ugh, God, why do you do that? That soundbite I do not like. I'm going to tell you right now.
I always wonder if people say to Paul, you put in your, where are they getting that saying from?
Oh, yeah.
It's some obscure cooking show that Paul was on, I found.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, Gordon, capitalize your best marketing, Duncan.
Yeah.
3 thoughts, boys. I have no idea why the European Sonic, I think he's trying to say Boom Tour, was called Sonic Boom over Europe, and the American tour was called The Hottest Show on Earth. If you have a new album, brand the tour. This is just another example of more of their marketing mistakes. Tom, what was the name of the reunion tour?
Alive Worldwide.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Does that go to you like thinking that's the reunion tour? No, it doesn't even.
No,
like,
they capitalized on the popularity of Alive.
Yeah, this is the reunion tour.
Right.
KISS Reunion. That should have been the name of the tour.
Yeah. I get it, but I think they looked at Alive. But he's right. I don't understand why the same tour has a completely hottest show on earth. Nobody knows what that is.
KISS should have had Reunion Tour, Sonic Boom Tour. Anyway, another example of more of their marketing mistakes. As to your comments about Vegas, Tom's idea of Tommy sitting on a stool with his guitar talking about monsters is a great idea. He could have walked through the that was mine, by the way.
That was your idea, Zeus. Correct.
That's all right. He could walk through the main riff of each song and talk about how it came together. That would be super interesting for any album, but especially the ones he contributed to. Tom wanted him to do that for Sonic Boom and to play Stand on repeat. I think that's what you suggested.
I would run into traffic.
And is there a man named Tom here? I'm told that he wants to hear me play the acoustic version of Stand, and then I only ad-lib the Paul lines. When you need me.
Just horrendous. Beyond.
Great song. And the lack of an unplugged box set is ridiculous. We know there are a ton of outtakes from the recording. You could easily include a couple of conventional cruise acoustic shows.
Stand by
Just
on
a
that.
crazy missed opportunity. Yeah, how about that? Let's see if that gets brought up in the discussion with Bruce.
Yep.
Hey, guys. Box set, unplugged. Wow. What a time. Hey, guys. Fuck them. BC Allison, great breakdown of this tour, guys. Full disclosure, as a KISS fan who got in at the ground floor of the debut album 74, I have purchased every KISS album practically on its day of release since the beginning. Sonic Boom was the only one on CD that I bought on the release date, played several times, and returned it within a week to my local used CD vendor for store credit. Sorry, not sorry, but I found almost nothing on the album worth the price of admission. Mm-hmm. I remember reading about this European tour and the attendance was spotty. It was at this point my fandom truly began to waver. KISS fans have been clamoring for a few new music over a decade, and the band simply did not deliver. Again, my opinion only. It's telling that the final End of the Road tour included almost nothing from this album. That to me speaks volumes. They didn't have anything from a lot of albums, but they did have some from that album. They had to say, yeah. I would never return an album. Like, that's just
I've never done that in my life.
Yeah.
Nope.
And I had a Soraya CD.
Why? Why do you have that?
Don't know. I had a Leather Wolf cassette once, Tom.
Oh boy, here we go.
I like to return this Leather Wolf cassette. Sorry, we only accept real merchandise. That's got to be a fake one. No, this was a real band.
No, this is real. I bought this when I picked up the Icon album.
Yeah, and you paid money for this? Can you prove that, sir?
Ugh.
Oh, Jesus. It sounds like, you're getting a little overreactive here.
Well, I'm hurt.
Things that we can do for you.
I'm very hurt.
That was you trying to return Leather Wolf.
Yeah, and the guy insulting me for buying it.
I'm very hurt by that.
Sounds like you're overreacting to this. Over on Blue Sky, dude, it's starting to get more comments at Twitter. Vinnie Vincent saved KISS. This is the first I'm hearing of this tour, so I'm excited to learn more about it. What? Okay. Lee Bruton. Great episode, boys. I went to a bunch of shows on this run. Manchester, Birmingham, London. I think you missed the show in Liverpool that was added as a late addition. Not sure of the attendance at Liverpool, but I bought tickets at the back, but I bumped to the front side so they can cover the back.
Jesus.
Okay. Matt Murphy adds, good one. Regarding Vegas, so many missed opportunities. The anniversary Unplugged being the most egregious. Can you imagine an entire crowd singing Ace's vocal to 2,000 Man as a Spaceman tribute? Not a dry eye in the house, except for at least one member of the band. Dude, you are fucking delusional if you think Paul is going to sing an Ace song live and give him credit.
Never. There are very few things that will happen like that. No, never.
Yeah, that is a definite no.
Is he out of his mind? I don't know what meds he's on.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Sorry. Tom, let's go over now to YouTube. Jim Murray 3922 adds, hey, Tom and Zeus. Been listening to the podcast for a couple months, especially love the tour episodes. Have you ever thought about this? What if KISS did a Metallica-style no-repeat tour? In my mind, they could have done a makeup and non-makeup weekend. A full makeup show of KISS classics in an arena, followed by a club show of non-makeup era tunes for the diehards. Alternatively, you could also do a live and a live 2, or just some combination on 2 nights. I would be interested to hear how you would both design unique KISS sets. As always, I enjoyed the episode and look forward to next week.
First of all, that is so incredibly unique and creative, which is why that would never happen on planet Earth or any other planet.
Yeah, we'll talk about that later, Jim, but and he also adds cheers from Canada.
Thank you.
Good luck on your footy match today.
Football.
Nick John Hagen. Another brilliant episode, Tom and Zeus. Being from the UK, it's great to have an episode or info about KISS in Europe. It's rare that you hear about their tours or exploits overseas. Please do another KISS episode about the UK or Europe. I attended both Wembley shows, but I also managed to see KISS play a tiny club show in London a few months before as a PR exercise because tickets were not selling in certain markets. Tom mentioned that when we did the episode.
Yeah.
To witness KISS in makeup up front of 800 fans in such a small environment was truly exciting. It made me realize what an impact they must have had back in the early days. They truly look like superheroes. Incredible. But they put on confetti cannons halfway through the show and fucking sucked the oxygen in the room. Everybody got evacuated and the show ended. What an absolute whoop the fuck. On a side note, I cannot wait to spend $3,000 to see Paul baste a turkey's anus in a cook-off while the KISS tards all cheer, looking resplendent, wearing their KISS aprons pulled over their guns.
Guns, haven't heard that word.
I didn't know that word was coming up.
Nice.
Over their guns and strapped into Their compression socks. Oh my God.
See, they get it. They get it.
Dude, fucking Nick is brilliant.
They get it.
I just purchased your book. Can't wait to read it. Tom,
Right.
stop.
What?
Tom, stop pulling at your pants.
He's always pulling at his pants and shit.
Sometimes that's what I do.
Rock on, Nick John Hagen.
That's awesome.
Loudcasters, this is a fucking 5-star fucking comment right there, man.
That's good stuff.
God. Oh. DD Mad City. A great episode as always, TNZ. It was more of a slag fest for the first half, which I loved. A challenge, though. How about one episode where you don't mention Nefertiti, the Greek thunder from down under? Just once. Please. We all have PTSD from hearing about the guy's freaking feet every week. Love you.
Sometimes we get carried away. That's us. That's what we do. PTSD off the claws.
Oh, hammer toad and fucking one toe's pointing to the North Star.
Shit.
Yeah, the other one's got a cheese grater on the bottom of it. He's just making a little sandcastle out of it.
God.
Tales of a Kiss Geek adds, hey guys, this was my first Kiss show. I saw them over here in Dublin, Ireland. Such a great show. I still have my t-shirt and my copy of the soundboard that I bought. Oh, you must share it with everybody.
That's cool.
Is he like those people that wear those concert t-shirts that are way too tight now?
Oh, yuck.
Dude, I'm just telling you, the comments are out of fucking control today.
I love it.
Oh my God. Rock Warrior adds, hey there, guys. I would absolutely love to go to the Vegas event. Not calling it a cruise. I simply can't afford it. But my opinion of the event is slightly different than yours. A karaoke dork, I would love to get up there next to Tommy and Butcher, Come On and Love Me. Also, as a drummer, I'm daydreaming about the Eric Singer drum off. I would totally blend recognizable Kiss grooves together with Eric looking on. I would also dig listen to Gene tell stories of some of the rare merch and see items in person. As for Paul, that's just dumb. Anyway, it's just my opinion. Keep ruling the podcast world. You rock. Here's what I would say. If you go to like an Indianapolis expo, you could probably get all those things you said with Tommy and Eric.
Yep.
For like not even a third of the price, basically.
Yep.
The Gene things, watch it on YouTube. I'm sure it'll be on there as soon as it ends.
Yep.
You know, save yourself the money. The amount of cost is just incredible. Chris Flood adds, hey, Paul, I just ate your cook-off beef stroganoff. Where is the shithole?
What should I say if I need to go to the shithole?
I'm going to say it again. Poor Bruce. Here he comes on to do an interview about the 30th anniversary of Unplugged. We're paying Borat clips. Jesus Christ.
Somebody eats Paul's pasta and says, excuse me.
What do I say?
I have to go to the show. Oh, my God. You ain't hearing this stuff on any of the other polite podcasts. Oh, Tom,
God.
I'm giving it back to you. Go ahead.
All right. Let's go and take a look at Spotify. We always like to remind you that you can comment directly from Spotify while you're listening or any other time. Mo simply says, do you like prosciutto? Our buddy Kevin Doyen, I can't stop laughing. To roughly quote Tom, quote, here you have Rush changing up their set list every night of their tour and pulling some songs out that they haven't played in 40 years, but Paul is cooking a pizza live on stage. Fucking hilarious. Yeah, thanks, Kevin. Unfortunately, it's true. Let's take a look at a couple emails. We got a lot of good ones here. Our buddy Tom Selig has a couple things to say about Landlocked, and he agrees with us about a recreation of the Unplugged set. He says the only reason most people go to the member events is so the 50 to 75 fans can push and shove up front trying to get something signed. He's right. We did see that. Tom Selleck even says, I am staying back this year. They increased the price of the same seat I had last year by over $1,000. And now during the member events, you can't even use your assigned seats. It's first come, first serves, with only the VIPs getting early entry. I'm all about putting cash for experience, but value has to come with it. Let me tell you, folks, if you're losing Tom Selleck, you're fucked. Because we love Tom. He goes to everything.
And Tom has said he's not buying things anymore. He's collecting memories.
Yep.
And he likes to do trips and see events and things like that. He's not purchasing things.
Yep.
He's purchasing like these visual things, concerts and meet and greets.
Experiences. Yeah.
Thank you. That's the word I was actually looking for. But yeah. And like you said, if you're losing him,
you're in trouble. Yeah. Buddy Keith Wetzel, guys, truly enjoyed listening to the latest episode. I missed this tour as I stopped giving the band any more of my money after the Alive 35 tour. I also enjoyed the ranting on the Vegas event and how the fans continue to get less for more. The older I get, the more I believe in the, quote, vote with your wallet motto. People don't realize that this is going to continue to happen until they stop buying into what they're doing to fans. Yeah, good stuff, man. Thanks for all the laughs and keep us old school fans entertained. We try there, Keith. We try. Thank you. Our good buddy Backpack Brad Rustoven of the Slamfest podcast. I agree with you guys. Even though they had, quote, new costumes and eventually played 3 new songs, they really should have changed up some other shit on this tour. In the past, they always did something different on tours when they were supporting a new album. He kind of gives some examples of some of the fire breathing, blood spitting, and some of the stuff that Paul did during different tours, different things. Some of the same stuff, but also a bit different. Casual fans won't know the difference, and you're throwing a bone to the diehards. Why not do something like this? Because fuck them, that's why. See, Brad, you get it, my friend.
Because fuck them, that's why.
100%. Scott Guerrero says, another fantastic review of a KISS tour like only you two can do. I love the thoroughness you put into these, and I can't wait for more tours to be covered. I did see the hottest show on earth tour near Dallas, so I got an idea of what it was like. I was surprised to hear crazy nights to be played. The thing that stood out to me about the show was the way Paul said sonic boom. Ugh, so annoying. Kept reminding us it was available at Walmart. It felt so cheap in a way. Ugh, yeah, good point, Scott.
I realized early on that Gene had been taught to value and appreciate money.
Yeah, thanks, Paul.
Gene had been taught that, not him.
Yeah, exactly. All right, Zeus, let's wrap up this long and hilarious segment of feedback we have this week with an email from Michael Terry from County Donegal in Ireland. He says, T&Z, long-time listener, first-time emailer. Thanks for doing an episode on the Sonic Boom Over Europe tour. I attended that Dublin show, and I still have very fond memories of it. Being in front of the stage, I would have had no idea that it was as poorly attended as you pointed out. Also, there was no KISS fatigue on my part, because as far as I'm aware, this is the only time they ever played Ireland other than Belfast in 1988, when I was 4 years old and obviously unaware of who they were. I thought they played a great show, and honestly, listening back to the recording of the show, it doesn't sound bad at all. Paul's on-stage banter, including trying to pronounce Dublin like a true Dubliner would pronounce it, was all sorts of silly, but all part of the fun. I did manage to see KISS twice after this, Birmingham, England in 2017 and New York City in 2019. But honestly, this is the show that sticks out in my mind as being by far the best of the bunch. KISS did not play Ireland again, and I'm so glad I got to see it happen at least once. Keep up the great work, guys. The show is always a highlight every weekend. Well, Michael Terry, that's awesome. First of all, that you were able to see that very rare Ireland show. Even more importantly, thank you for emailing us for the very first time, and we appreciate and love the fact that we are a highlight to every weekend of yours. And for that, my friend, you are the comment of the week.
Good answer. Good answer. I know what you think. We're going to be watching you.
Yeah, I love getting new comments from people that, stay quiet, don't get involved as much, and eventually, come out and say something and want to get involved. Love it. Don't be a stranger, my friend.
Yep, absolutely. Please.
Yeah. So, Tom, we always at this point go and thank our Patreon family. well over 100 members. And that's people that help and contribute to the show. Patreon, you go to our website, shoutitoutloudcast.com.
Go to him.
And right on the landing page on shoutitoutloudcast.com, you'll see the icon, mate, for Patreon. Click on that, and then you'll see the options. You have 4 different options and 4 different tiers. Each monetary tier comes with different perks between involvement in the show, between message boards, the ARC pick, which is coming up this month, merch, which we give out, video chats, and much more. So if you want to help the show continue to grow and be a vital part of Shout It Out Loudcast, please help and contribute to the show by joining our Patreon family. If you want to know what's the best way to help the show, it's joining our Patreon. Thank you to our Patreon families, and you out there, the Loudcaster. Come and join the family.
Guys, thanks so much for everything. We love all of your support and all your interaction and involvement for the show. It's so greatly appreciated. Please check us out online, shoutitoutloudcast.com. Click on the link. So much to offer. And as Zeus said, the ARC pick is coming soon.
Tom, what's going on in KISS World?
Couple things this week. KISS decided to drop some new merch. Spirit of 76 merch. Ridiculous stuff here. Another one of those matching, they call them cabana outfits.
Oh, God.
Just, good God. $60 for the shirt, $50 for the shorts.
Is Frank Costanza looking for his cabana wear?
Yeah, for real.
George?
Yep. Spirit of 76 t-shirt. The poster is pretty cool. Of course, it's already sold out. The towel, whatever.
Hey, you can get a couple posters. I got a couple unique ones down in my basement.
Yeah, some stuff like that's decent, I guess, but nothing great. The other thing this week was Paul talking about the avatars. Paul says in USA Today, quote, God, how many times have we heard this, Zeus? Quote, what we're doing will absolutely blow people away. It's as real as you and us sitting here. It's immersive. It will be mind-boggling. Referencing the fact that a customized venue at a reported cost of $200 million is being built to host the KISS Avatar show, Stanley said, quote, you have to build an arena to make sure everybody's seat is the perfect viewing distance and angle. But quite honestly, I don't think anyone is going to sit. It's not going to be like, gee, that looks just like an amplifier. It's not a concert in that sense. It's an immersive experience. Added Simmons, quote, there's a motion picture. There's a script. There are directors. We're like the caterpillar that looks like it's at the end of its life and goes into a cocoon. But what comes out is more beautiful than ever been.
What?
Honestly, what in the fucking fuck are we doing?
It's not in reality. It's
a $200 million arena?
Dude, they're going to have a fucking tax write-off for years on the loss they're going to have. And again, KISS, okay, is not a fucking band that after the diehards go, that people like 5 years later are going to want to go and see this.
Nope.
It's not ABBA.
No.
They're not as accessible.
No. They have a niche. They have a fan base of diehards, but they're not the global band. They're not, the Who or the Stones or, they're not Metallica. They're not that.
Are they going to change it up every time? So like, once a couple years I'm in Vegas, I'll go see the new KISS show? Or is it going to be the same fucking show?
What they're going to get is they're going to get what happens when they release a new album or when they do anything new for the first time. All the diehards are going to go. You're going to have the morbid curiosity about what is this? I have to see this. What the hell are they talking about? And then after that, I don't know, but I think you're right. I've heard other people say this. I just think this is just going to be a massive tax write-off of Pophouse. It's incredible how they just don't see what they're doing. I don't get it. It's baffling. I don't get it.
So if you compare, you and others think that KISS can't do the Sphere.
Right.
Right? So what they're going to do is build their own Sphere when they can't fill out just a stadium that's already there?
Well, they need to. First of all, I love this. They're going to build a $200 million arena for this. And then when the KISS avatars go away, what is this? Is this just going to become one of those, like, you know, those videos if you see like the Olympic, like, auditoriums from like Sarajevo?
Sarajevo. There's fucking wild coyotes in what used to be the loo.
Yeah. You got like fucking wild animals running up and down the bobsled course because the fucking shit just stays there to die. Like,
oh my
God. I don't know, man. I mean, look. Now, this is the other thing I don't know. If they're building a $200 million arena, that means there's going to be one arena, and the avatars, which we know, are going to be in one place. So are we to assume this is going to be New York City, Las Vegas?
Oh, this is Vegas. This is Vegas. It's not going to be anywhere else. But again, they've moved the goalposts on this.
They always do.
And gaslighting us to act like we didn't remember what they said, when it was coming out, what it was going to be, and all this other stuff, and how much it was going to cost.
Mm-hmm.
And they keep changing it. Honestly, well, you have no idea what you're going to see. I don't care if it's the greatest amusement park in my mind. It can't be that fucking outrageous. Because otherwise, like, NASA or the government would have it, or something like that. Or somebody else would be smart enough to do it for a more accessible fucking product than KISS the rock band.
It's just going to be something that's kind of interesting and eye-popping and intriguing. I don't think it's anything going to be... Look, it's not going to be like one of those rides at Disney or Universal. It's not going to be that. At least,
but I'm just saying, like, even if it is... how many people are going to go see this and do this?
And how long are the show? Will the shows be 2 hours, 90 minutes? What is it? Like, fucking you walk in and walk out? What do you do?
And it's just on rinse repeat all day long?
Yeah. Right. Like a movie, like a movie in a theater.
Yeah. It's like they're going to play fucking Rocky Horror Picture Show in those movie theaters. They just continuously play that movie for years.
Yep.
At midnight.
Right.
And sometimes there's 2 people, then sometimes a gang of people want to go see it. There's 15, 20 people, but they just play it every night. What the fuck do we care?
Well, yeah, no, you're right. If they're gonna sink that kind of money into an arena, that arena that'll be used all the time. I don't know.
And the way they talk about it, and the way you'll hear a couple of the facts we talk about, and we try to ask Bruce a little bit about it, and all that. But who's on retainer? Who's the fucking images of? Who's the? And that the new music is new music. Yeah, we'll do new music because Pophouse wants it for the avatars. But when you would ask Paul and Gene before all Pophouse came in the pictures, what's the point of doing new music?
What's the point? New music doesn't sell. No one's interested.
We lose money. Why would I do it? Oh, Pophouse is going to pay you to do it. Oh, we're doing new music. Oh, we are now.
Mm-hmm. It's painful.
Oh, just like someone talked about, we couldn't do new things on tour because of the old guys. Really? What are you doing now? The hypocrisy and the constant gaslighting of us as though we don't remember this shit.
And
Gene making fun of bands that don't play live before. And then it just... There's nothing harder than being a KISS fan, Tom.
You know what else is? Get ready for this. Wait until they do KISS Cruise Landlocked in Vegas featuring the avatars and the actual band isn't there to perform.
We ain't going. Let them fucking...
Oh, no, I'm just saying that's going to be the next shoe to drop. The avatars will replace the live show.
You're in the KISS business, baby.
Yeah, we know, Gene. We know.
All right, Tom, let's take our quick little break, and we're going to bring in the great one and only Bruce Kulick.
Stop. Don't talk anymore.
So this week we are thrilled to bring back one, if not our favorite guests, and a reigning champion in the Shout It Out Loudcast Hall of Fame. You know him, you love him, and we're so thrilled that not only is he here, but he's here and he's healthy. The great Bruce Kulick returns to Shout It Out Loudcast. Bruce, welcome back, and thank goodness you are feeling good and healthy, my friend.
Well, thank you, and nice introduction. What can I say? I'm back. And you know, just so everyone knows, I have to admit the whole thing about me getting open heart surgery is it was a really huge thing for my life, but important. This all happened from a birth defect that I was monitoring for 12 years.
Wow.
And during the 12 years, to be quite honest, my cardiologist, the one in LA and the one here in Las Vegas where I live, it was always like, well, we'll deal with it when it gets, when it shows it's going to be a problem. So don't worry, sometime in your 70s, we're going to have to do something, And he never got graphic. He never got real specific because there's so many different heart procedures. And boy, did I learn that when I posted what happened, because then every fan and their entire family sent me all the details, which I appreciated actually, because it is a big journey, to have this kind of surgery. But you guys knew about the Virgin event, of course, last November. Okay.
Yes.
And I went ahead and, I paced myself those 3 days. They were hard. A lot of it's just sometimes even emotional, not even energy, because it's kind of crazy. I thought they were done. And here we are again. You know what I mean?
Yeah, right.
There's KISS and all the fans and the whole thing. So I remember seeing the doctor in December, and he was looking and reporting to me about my tests that happened, like a week before that landlocked. And he said, so how's things going? And I just go, well, I just did this big KISS event. It was very successful. I paced myself. Oh, really? Okay. Okay. Well, I think you need a valve replacement like soon. You know what I mean? It was just like,
oh my God.
He was expecting me to say, well, I just felt like hell and it was really hard. I wasn't very symptomatic, to be honest. That doesn't mean you're not a ticking time bomb when they do the test and they see what's going on in your heart, So this one valve isn't formed right. It's called a bicuspid valve, which means it only has 2 flaps. It should have 3. So, Kelly Keegi is another guy who happened to have the same birth defect. Okay. His was repaired like 10 years ago. Night Ranger, right? Mm-hmm. So he was like, look, I know you don't feel really bad, but you should get it done while you're baseline, while you're healthy, while you're younger, and don't wait until you pass out or have a heart attack. And then there you go. So obviously I couldn't even talk to him at that point. I was just staring at the ground, and Lisa listened to everything, my angel wife, and she absorbed everything. So then we scheduled some other tests just to make sure. And then after all that, it was still full speed ahead to go see a surgeon. I really liked the surgeon. I definitely got one of the best, if not the best, here in Las Vegas. And he was a KISS fan too, which is cool.
Nice.
And did you ask him if it was makeup or non-makeup?
Yeah.
He first started with makeup, but he was aware of the non-makeup years. But I have to admit, there's another guy that was important, the perfusionist during the procedure. He's the heart-lung guy. You know anything about that? They need to put you on a heart-lung machine so they can repair the heart.
Sure.
And that guy came to visit me the day after the surgery. I'm part of the team, I'm part of Dr. Dashia's team. Oh my God, when I saw your name on the board, I freaked out, and I said, and I'm like, I'm high on morphine. I don't know what's going on. I'm like, wow, you were there. Cool. And then he goes, no, you don't understand. I'm a fan. You know what I mean? And he started going into details. Your guitar playing. I know all the records. I'm a New Yorker. I mean, the surgeon, Dr. Chia brought me out here. It was so funny. And then I'm like, what do you do? What did you do? And he said, oh, I kept you alive for 80 minutes. And I'm like, I like you. Okay. I'm alive. This is great. Yep. And then he made a pretty great quote when he mentioned that he definitely can say on record that like he's a fan, right? And he's seen me like nobody will ever see me, okay? Because he's looking at me with all, my chest is open, my heart's out of my body, and he's keeping me alive, So I'm definitely inviting him to the November 26th, landlocked. He doesn't know it yet. I have his card,
Nice.
But that was really cool, and any kind of connection with who I am, what I do. And there were some very interesting fans right there on that, the 4th floor, which is ICU. Mm-hmm. And it's funny, we're going to talk about Unplugged, but the night nurses were awesome. they're keeping me high and fine, and I'm just chatterbox. I know I was talking about Unplugged at one point too, but they were really cool, and everybody, the staff was wonderful. Everything was just, they treated me great. The first few weeks when I came home after a week in the hospital, I was a wreck. It's very hard. They won't send you home unless somebody's there to take care of you.
Sure.
Which in my case, fortunately, is my loving wife, Lisa. You have to go to like a rehab facility because you're not going to be able to do anything. And she took care of me wonderfully, of course, and I couldn't have survived without her. And that was a few weeks of like, oh my God, you can't, like I needed everything from her. Even though I can get up to kind of go to the bathroom, it's hard. Oh, and anybody out there that's had the open heart surgery, they're aware you can't use your arms a lot because you're protecting the chest bone that's been opened up and put back together.
Yep.
But all of a sudden, by the end of the third week, I'm going to see the surgeon, and we take a nice photo, which was on social media. People really responded well. Obviously, you lose weight right away, or you can't use your upper body, so you get thinner. But within each week, it was a real progression. I'm actually today on my 9th week, which is great. After 8, that's a big milestone.
Yep.
That's when a lot of restrictions are eased, but you heal for a long time, So right now I'm been, cardio rehab, they call it, to regain your strength, and I'm always like, always aware of every little sensation in my body. So you can imagine if you're like that before open heart surgery, you have a sensation, right? What's going on? How's my valve? Is my valve okay? You get it?
Right.
By the way, a valve is the size of a quarter. That's it.
Wow.
But they put that in there, and I'm not kosher anymore. It was a pig valve. I'm teasing about being kosher. But,
Nice.
And they're supposed to be incredible and very compatible, and they're supposed to last like a dozen or more years of good health. So I'm hoping, and the way I feel, to be honest, there's times, like I started to do the cameos, shout out, birthday, encouragement, whatever. And Lisa watched me do 2 in a row, and she's just like, wow, that was... You were really great. You were really strong,
Nice.
And I'm not saying, that I'm completely perfect yet. Right. But the point that everything's trending really well. So I'm very pleased, and thanks for asking, of course.
Oh, thank God.
Well,
awesome.
We're thankful. And thankful to Lisa for helping our
Indeed.
Bruce.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
But I think this is a great thing for listeners out there who are, your age, our age, who hear this. You didn't need to be like, hey, man, there's something wrong with me.
Right.
You were in your team, your medical team, were proactive.
Yes.
And that's the one thing that I'm always saying like with diseases and hearts and cancers and things. Be proactive.
Sure.
Do not sit there and wait to the last minute where you're like, you know what, I've been dealing with this. There's something wrong. Let me just go now.
Exactly.
And that's great that you did that. And and we still have the great Bruce for many, many more years.
Yes. Thank God.
And we're excited about that. And we were, when we saw it on social media, we're like, oh my God, what, it was kind of shocking to all of us. We're like, not Bruce.
Yeah.
And, right after Ace.
No, I'm aware of that.
So we were all like, oh, come on.
Yeah.
And, thankfully we followed the progress and stuff.
Good.
And we're so glad you're here and you're getting back rounding form, buddy.
Yeah. I talked to a publicist friend of mine because I didn't want to talk about it before I was actually getting it. And I actually thought I mentioned it to you guys. You remember we talked about maybe doing Unplugged?
Yes.
Yes.
And I was just like, well, if you could do it like in the next, there was a short window because I didn't want to do anything the last 2 weeks right before, the surgery, knowing it was coming.
Yep.
And by the way, it's all started with, I always get a yearly physical. I mean, when you get older, you should, definitely get that checked. But I always was a believer in that. And I remember it was my primary vet in California. He heard that I had a murmur. Not every murmur means you need open heart surgery.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
So please, people, if you hear that, there are many, many conditions of the heart, and I don't know anything really except a little bit that I hear. But from that murmur, you need to see a cardiologist,
Yep.
And that's when the tests start. Most people don't go to a cardiologist unless you've fainted or passed out or something's going on, Or how about the times that people say, I was at my doctor for the physical. He said, like, I got your test results. You got to go to the hospital right now. Do you know what I mean? Because they see something number-wise, or they're aware of a blockage or whatever. So, so everybody should just check themselves out and then listen. You know, I'm a believer in the medical community. Some people aren't, and that's okay. You know what I mean? It's your life, your body. But to me, it's like good to my car is why wouldn't I be good to me? You know what I mean?
Perfectly well said. Yep. So let's have some fun here now, and let's talk about KISS fans. One of the most revered things in history, and that is Unplugged, the MTV performance, and obviously Unplugged, the audio release. 30 years, Bruce. We watched the videos that you put out on your social media. We always love those anniversary videos that you put out. But let's just start right from the beginning. So if I can kind of preface it with this. So myself and our friend Murph, we went to those KISS conventions back in 1995. We went to the one in Boston, Mass. And we just thought it was fantastic. And of course, the most memorable aspect of it was that sit down, unplugged acoustic, you know, fly by the seat of your pants kind of show that the band did. You know, we know the story about how Peter joined them. And then why don't you take it from there? How, you know, kind of MTV got involved, and then, you know, the rest is history, as they say.
Absolutely. Well, first, it always started with the band was always aware of those very successful fan created and held expos or conventions. And at one point, you know, Gene, he is incredible with studying how do these people do what, and wait a minute, we can do that, and we can even do it bigger and better because we'll be there. Okay.
Yep.
And once that period of the band was kind of in a lull. You know, we already did Revenge. Alive 3 came out, which got a splash, but it's outside of touring, maybe internationally. I wasn't sure what was next for the band, to be quite honest, you know. So all of a sudden, Gene's concept, this is easy. I remember Paul didn't really want to travel a lot. I think he might have maybe, I don't remember if Evan or just getting married, or he just, you know, he was fine with let's be home. I don't remember. And that kind of a convention tour was easy with breaks, not like the big tours, right? I do remember a funny story about the money charge. You know, Gene was like, $100, you know, and I was like, wow, that's a lot of money. That was a real bargain when you think about it.
Oh, in retrospect, incredible bargain.
Yeah. All right, we'll drag out the, you know, costumes. We'll have a little mini, museum. Bruce, you do clinics, because he knew I would do that for, you know, ESP guitars or Marshall amps. You'll do a clinic. Eric, you do drum stuff. You'll do a, you know, drum clinic. So there's like a little more entertainment, you know, and then of course we would play. Now I love that it was very casual and authentic. You know what I mean? People shout out songs. Some of them I didn't know, I'll be honest, but I could play along. I got a good ear. I may have heard it once, but I didn't know where Eric could just jump in and play a beat for anything. He was aware of all the early albums much better than I was. And it was actually Eric that said when we were going to do LA, you know, why don't you invite Peter, you know, to come? And I know that's been out there, which I thought was really interesting of Eric. And with him, it was never a competition or thinking, oh my God, we're not going to have our gig next year, which is actually what happened. But Peter came in. Yeah, Peter came in, and the fans went crazy, of course. And then clearly we went on and did all the dates. You know, a couple didn't sell out. We had to cancel a few, which was really weird. But they weren't necessarily the best cities for them to get what the heck was going on, because you know the way that is. So at some point, and I don't think it was even the band contacting them, knowing that Alex Coletti was a big, big fan of KISS, he came down and checked it out, okay? And, of course, Gene and Paul would be very happy with if we could do MTV Unplugged. And, of course, behind the scenes, not that I was necessarily aware of it right away, but it was like, well, MTV needs, you know, KISS was popular, but it wasn't really MTV. I mean, it wasn't the 80s and the hair, you know what I mean? It was already changing. Sure. So the big carrot for them to agree to do it and make it a reality would be inviting Ace and Peter. And Ace and Peter at that point of their careers would be very happy to do it, and maybe the more meaning the reunion, because they were tired of the clubs and stuff. And as much as KISS, we had our ups and downs during my non-makeup years. It was a good time for them to look at that. There was obviously we set a date. We started to rehearse. Those guys came in. They film it all. I know up until the very end of like us doing the performance, maybe the day before, maybe got all ironed out finally the day before, but there was a lot of, shall I say, negotiating by the lawyers and everything. Me not really being aware of anything. Where's Ace and Peter? How come they're not rehearsing today? Oh, well, and then it was like, it's not like anybody talked about it really. So, But what was happening was, there was going to be like some sort of commitment from them that, okay, we'll do this. And we're going to look at those serious offers for a reunion tour, which would be a real win. Because obviously there could be a lot of money made. And they kind of kept that away from Eric and I, which is the right thing to do. I didn't need that hanging over my head when I want to perform as best as I can. Because I was obviously nervous with the beauty of the MTV camera crew and that kind of a small, intimate crowd. I'm under the microscope. Think about it. So I didn't know about their drama, but that was part of it. But it didn't affect anything. We really did all perform fantastically, and I was very, very proud of the presentation. There's some, footage of all the mistakes and things like that, and they're pretty funny. Some of the fun songs like God of Thunder done country style.
Oh, yeah. Great. Great.
But I was very proud of the band. I was very proud of Eric, Gene, and Paul and I. And actually considering, the amount of time that we had with Peter and Ace, I thought they did a great job. And the six of us up there, Kumbaya, that should have been at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. You know that.
Oh, yeah.
But it wasn't meant to be. And there it was, all recorded beautifully and filmed well. And for me, it was a magical performance that I'll never forget. So I'm really happy, obviously, now that Pophouse and Universal finally did the 30th anniversary and released it just this month of June. And you don't have to buy a bundle to buy it.
Exactly. That's right.
That's the good. But I wanted to get your comments, and then I'll give you my bad. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, just real quick. In terms of the bad, is as a fan, like you said, and as KISS Online has been releasing in the social media, I wish there was some kind of maybe not a box set, I guess we could say it, but we know that there's a ton of behind the scenes rehearsal footage, some songs that didn't make it onto the official CD release. Maybe a collection of outtakes of interviews of, behind the scenes, like we're piecemeal. But it would have been nice to have the whole thing.
I agree. And Zeus, any comments from you about it?
Yeah, I will say I shouldn't have to buy this, which is the Japanese CD version of this, to get Got to Choose. They should have released the songs that we see when we see the live complete footage.
Right.
Those should have been on there, and they could have done an extra release of that. I think it would have been special for the fans to get something like that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not a vinyl collector. I went through vinyl. I went to cassettes. I went to CDs. I'm not going back.
Yeah, I've heard you talk about that.
Yes.
But it is for a certain group.
I get it, and I respect it. But they should release it for vinyl, and they should release it for CDs.
Yeah,
and they should have put a bigger package together.
Yes,
or maybe they're saving for something else. But why save it for something else? This is a big anniversary, 30th anniversary. Celebrate it. Put the unreleased stuff out there,
You could have done, well, not you, Bruce, but I'm saying they could have done a box set. Maybe it doesn't need to be a super deluxe box set like Dress to Kill or Destroyer. But as we know, there's a ton of stuff that, like I said, videos, photos, just all types of rehearsals. That's what I mean. Like you said, Bruce, like the God of Thunder, that country outtake, some of the mistakes, some of the audience interaction. There's a lot of stuff there that I think the fans would have eaten up. And, yeah, we're happy that the 30th anniversary was obviously observed, but like you, KISS fans, we always want more, especially when we know that stuff exists.
Yeah. And look, I agree with both of you guys, although Zeus, I wish they did CDs of these things. You remember when the Asylum that soundboard finally came out, everybody was buying the Japanese one.
That's what I did.
Right. Yeah. And so did I. But what's ironic and there's a few things that I need to mention, but keep in mind that all these products and all these licensing and all these rights, they're worldwide and they're a little different everywhere,
Yep.
Don't know why, let's say, Got to Choose could have been done. Maybe it can't because it was only exclusive to international market. Don't know. Okay?
Yep.
Don't know who really owns all of the... I mean, hopefully you guys did see what they offered on KISS Online, video-wise, okay?
Yes.
And one win is that it's all upscaled. No one's ever seen MTV Unplugged look like that, like those YouTubes in high definition, okay? They look beautiful. I was like,
yes,
whoa. And I'm not clear on who really owns what. Could they ever offer that? Wouldn't that have been nice in, like Zeus, you're saying, where's the box set? Why not? But again, I'm always aware in this thing called the music business, and the fans make us, exist, but sometimes the fans can't get what they want unless they go, on the, it's underground, you know what I mean? And everything has to be done that way because sometimes the rights aren't available or it's complicated or it costs too much. Don't know. Okay. I'm grateful for any crumb I can get from my era, okay? I hate to put it that way. Excuse me. And I have seen some people comment, okay, this is great. It's a great concert, but I only care about the makeup and, who cares? That kind of thing. But the people who do love that show, and yeah, what they're getting isn't as much as what exists, and that's unfortunate. But certainly one of my other disappointments is just the way it's marketed and the way it's always been marketed and reviewed as about the reunion, okay?
Yes.
Instead of 80% of it was Eric, Gene, and I, and Paul, of course. And Paul was in wow, excuse me, shape, right? And Eric played with such an amazing groove. Now, I really thought, of course, when Ace and Peter came out, everybody was solid, don't get me wrong. But they were 20% of the show, and yet they get all the marketing approach. They get all of the hype. And I just think it's, again, I'm maybe sometimes I say it to Lisa, always the bridesmaid, not the bride, and that's the way I felt about it. But you can't tell me if you put up Sure Know Something, which was performed flawlessly with such a great, unique arrangement. It's not exactly the record,
Unreal.
And then compare that, all right, 2000 Man's amazing. There's Ace and he's doing the song. But it's not like that's that much better as a performance. It's just, of course, amazing that there they are. They were together, and now they're all going to play together. There's no doubt no one sings a Peter Criss song better than Peter Criss. He just has that magic voice for it. So to see Peter do Beth, see Peter come out, and you got that voice and everything, which my voice is turning into right now.
It's all good.
But you get what I mean, And that was always my biggest, you go anywhere, Wikipedia, look up a review of Unplugged, and the whole thing, this record represented the reunion of the original four guys. And everything else is a footnote,
Yeah, it's funny, Bruce, because but trust me, I completely understand and respect that feeling. But as a KISS fan, and I'm not saying this because you're on our show, when I listen to MTV Unplugged, or when I think about it, primarily when I listen to it, whether I put on the CD or I have the vinyl, I never think about the reunion that much. I listen to is I listen to that opening track, that incredible version of Coming Home, your solo on your solos, the version of Sure Know Something, the version of Domino. That's what I think of. Now, again, the reunion aspect is fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
And so I agree with you that it's not fair that, to the quote unquote common man, that's what they associate with, because they're missing a hell of a lot more if that's all they're associating Unplugged with.
And there's the rub, the fact that, performance wise, the Revenge era band couldn't have done a better job. Okay. And the set list is wonderful because it's a lot of really cool vintage songs. You didn't think I was nervous playing Ace's solos on an acoustic with him in the building? You know what I mean?
Right.
I mean, fortunately, I always knew and we always got along and respected each other, which is wonderful. But, why the marketing people are not connected like the fans. Okay.
Yeah. Oh, we talk about that every week, Bruce.
Yes. And here's a perfect example again. Yeah. But I'm one of the performers. You know what I mean?
Right.
And I have the same gripe. But the fans do know. So that's the bonus. And I know when I was talking to Lisa at lunch before the interview, I always said that, well, no matter how off this is, and that it's not really represented the right way when you want to talk about it, or promote it or market it, the fans know that they're going to see an incredible, hour of music from the Revenge era band. And then, the icing on the cake comes. Okay. Mm-hmm. And one last thing, let's talk about, I love the guys who do the graphics and everything. And I'm friends and I've hired some of these people, for Universal. So this is not a slag, but there you go. You got the 2 picture discs. There's not going to be one of me or Eric Singer. Okay.
Bruce, I didn't want to bring that up, but honestly, that was one of the very first things I noticed when they released that picture disc, and I pretty much gasped. I'm a vinyl guy, so I did buy the picture disc, and I said, "You got to be absolutely shitting me right now that they did that."
Hey, first time I'm hearing about this. I didn't buy it.
Okay, right, because you don't like vinyl.
I'm interested. Yeah.
Go ahead, Bruce. Go ahead, Bruce.
All right. So what's the workaround? You're that guy working along with those guys, knowing how important Ace and Peter are, and they are. Mm-hmm. What do you do?
So
I don't know. There's only 2 discs, 4 sides.
What they could have done is they probably could have put group photos on the picture discs, because there are 6 guys performing. Like you said, 80% of it have you and Eric.
Right,
okay. The picture discs have Paul and Gene and Ace and Peter.
Yep.
That's complete and total bullshit. And again, I was shocked when I saw that, but you're right. The only other workaround would be, I don't know, maybe put Paul and Gene on one, and then the other one have a band photo of the 4 of you, and then the 6 of you. I don't know, but not trying to upset you guys, Bruce.
No, I'm fine with it because I know the way it goes.
But it's frustrating, and to be honest with you, it's refreshing to hear a member of the band share the frustrations that the fans do.
And it's not like I need people to look at me, but we know what happened on that concert. You play those albums, you'll hear 80% of the Revenge band, and then you'll hear the others, the reunion day, and then all of us together. So I'm part of those too.
Yep.
The other gripe is, so then when they want to show one of those beautiful shots of the band on stage, I'm not sure I see me or Eric. You know what I mean? I see when the 4 of those guys play. Okay. You get what I'm saying? Yep. So once again, it's promoted, it's marketed in I just think if they think the fans don't know, they're wrong. Okay. And you don't need to only show the 4 original iconic members who are always the holy members of the band to sell this, because you're mismarketing, or rather false marketing it in a sense. And now I'm getting a little rougher around the edges. And look, I get it, but it doesn't mean I like it. And you guys give a perfect kind of forum for us to discuss it. Okay. That's all.
Thank you.
No, so
Gene and Paul have nothing to do with that, by the way. I am positive of that. Okay, this is all, Universal, the people who design Pophouse might have some influence, but clearly this is not Gene and Paul driving the bus here, which usually is, you know what I mean, pre the sale of Pophouse to Pophouse. So there you go.
One thing I wanted to add, Bruce, is for me, like, let's say you came up with a top 10 list of, things that you take away from this album and this performance. Obviously, number 1 is going to be like, wow, the reunion, right? Mm-hmm. And then some of the songs in there. But to me, it's the set list and what you guys pulled out. So being a KISS fan, what's on this Unplugged album is something that we haven't seen in 15, 20 years almost, KISS doing. and that is just throwing something and you not knowing, going to a concert and not knowing what's going to get played. See You Tonight is on there.
Mm-hmm.
That is beyond a deep cut. That is, and it's fantastic that you guys pulled that out. The version of Sure Know Something, to me, that's a top 10 moment on this album. That version of that song made me go back and watch the original and that video of that. And this unplugged version was one of them. Opening up with Coming Home is so original and off the charts. And I know I'll watch my words. I don't want to put you in a comfortable spot. It goes against everything Paul says now about set lists. Nobody got up and walked away and went home or took a bathroom break because you guys opened up with Coming Home. Mm-hmm. Nobody did that. Okay. And the same thing with Thrown Out Domino. The only thing I would say is I wish, because you guys just did a live 3, you did Revenge, take away a couple more songs out of there, throw something else from your era that would work well on an or different on an acoustic, because you got a few obviously Revenge songs, which the whole album's incredible, so there's no problem there, but I would have loved to seen something different. But there's so many other things on this album. Like, you guys pulled out a song from Music from the Elder, though I do not like it, but you pulled out a song from Music from the Elder. These are the thoughts that I think of when you go unplugged. And this is one of the things I wish KISS could understand. It doesn't have to be Cold Gin, Shout It Out Loud, Rock and Roll All Night for us to love you. There's so many other great tunes and deep cuts that could be done and done well. Nobody is thinking about this album and going, oh, they ruined that album because they played See You Tonight. Yep. Or they ruined that album because they played A World Without Heroes. I love the album. Yeah. I think it's so unique and so different. First of all, musically, you guys were on top of everything. And I don't know, and you don't have to say this, I'm saying this. I don't know another era of KISS that maybe could have done what you guys did, other than maybe the Lick It Up era, because it was acoustic. And I've heard Ace talk about, like, acoustically, maybe that's not his big forte. Right. But you pulled it off. Eric Singer can do it. Your versatility and Eric's versatility, and Paul and Gene were in rare forms vocally and everything else. That lineup might be the only one that could pull off the set list like this.
100%. I agree.
And that is kudos to you. And the fact that they put out a disc and didn't put you or Eric on it is ridiculous. But I just have to say, honestly, your lineup is the difference. Sure. I mean, and I really believe that.
Well, I have a theory about the set list and the fact that Paul's rule of, no, they want to hear Love Gun in Detroit Rock City and Rock and Roll Night. And I get why he says that when he's out doing these major, huge tours, which you're really you're not up close with the fans at all. Okay. Mm-hmm. It becomes like this mass love thing. And then it's a production, with $1 million worth of lasers, lights, and platforms and things. We just came off a very awesome experience. I think that really, I think it got them seeing things a little different and accomplished exactly what Gene thought it could do. Let's get up close and personal. We should be the stars of a KISS Expo. And then that casual people throwing out songs, like, who knew we might like someone would say Love Theme from KISS, and next thing I know, I hear them playing these things. And so I just think that the set list approach for Unplugged was born out of what happened organically at the conventions, okay? And that doesn't happen in concerts when you are just a megastar and it's sold out every night and you're taking 12 trucks on the road. It's just not the same. Now, I'm not trying to defend Paul not doing deeper tracks at those venues, but I'm just saying the mindset. I'm trying to put us into, well, why even would we do an Elder song? Cool. Now, acoustically, now we're in a different environment. Now you have pretty lights, candles, you're all sitting. So World Without Heroes, it's perfect. Some of those songs I was familiar with them, but I didn't realize how amazing they were and how well we could interpret them. Okay. Now, I'll admit, did I ever play Plastercaster live with them electric? I don't think so, but it worked acoustically. Certainly
did.
And like what you said, opening with Coming Home was just amazing. You know what I mean? Those picking guitar parts translate so well to what we were doing. And then, of course, we were still a little bit in that revenge mode. So obviously the ballad, it was brave for us to do I Still Love You. And wow, hard for me to do a solo, but I pulled it off. But of course we wanted to do Every Time I Look at You. And then what a wonderful, no one talks about the string quartet that joins us on stage, and stuff like that. That's not marketed, nothing like that. And that was really a special moment. You could hear a pin drop when Paul, bum, 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 everything, whatever that line. I'm not the singer in the family here, but you get what I mean. Everything to me.
Sure.
Unbelievable. And I don't think he ever sang I Still Love You any better than that.
No, it's
right?
legendary.
Yeah.
Legendary, that performance.
We just want to talk about marketing-wise the reunion tour, the reunion of those guys, okay?
Yeah.
So, again, that set list, though, I know you gripe about how they generally defend what they want to play on occasion on the KISS Cruise or other events. They loosen up. But there was no way that we were going to sit there and play Detroit Rock City and all the other stuff. That's why when we did God of Thunder, which was played a lot, right? It was an outtake, but we played it. We played it for fun. We just had fun with it. Domino, yeah, and he was so nervous, Gene. I think we did it like 3 or 4 times. He kept flubbing the lyrics, right?
Yep.
But maybe the connection to revenge, and that's why we did it. Either way, the set list is great. The performances are amazing. There's nothing that I have bragged and said that, it was one of the highlights of my KISS career. And people would always also remind me, I love when you play acoustically. Well, they might have remembered that I had a nice solo on Forever. Hopefully,
which I wish was on this.
And that was
more than every time. And I think we think as fans, like, oh, that's Paul thinking, well, Forever was a big hit. This is kind of similar. Let's make it from the acoustic album a hit.
Yep.
I kind of agree with you that the connection to Revenge was still there. Well, at least he was thinking about my era and not forward thinking, which was what was happening shortly after this concert, because once the ink was dry and then the offers came in, even though there was a commitment to record, okay, meaning you send in a song and then the label says, okay, here's your advance, which is in KISS world a lot of money, okay? So now you got to show that you're going to work on the record. And Gene and I were recording a lot of songs. Eric was there. Paul came a little late into the game of writing the songs, but of what would become Carnival of Souls. And now we're recording that because we had a commitment, and they also were aware that, well, what if Ace and Peter just decide, I don't like you, or I don't like this, or I don't want to do it, so we were still functioning as a band without Eric and I actually knowing until the January of 1996 that all right, now we're taking dates, we're booking, this thing is real, and the record will have to go on hold. So I'm just saying, I think at that point everything was about doing something great. MTV was so huge still then, even though that started all falling apart with the change in music scene. But I think Gene and Paul really wanted to do the best they could. And I feel like we checked all the boxes and certainly hit a home run.
Bruce, I want to ask you something, and I don't know if you have an answer to this, and even if you do, if you can't answer, so maybe I'll just ask your opinion. So last week, Zeus and I were talking about the Vegas event this year, which unfortunately we're not going to be able to attend it. We attended last year's. We're not going to be going to this one.
Okay.
But what I was thinking passionately about, as we always do on our show, was that this is the 30th anniversary of MTV Unplugged. They're releasing all the 30th anniversary merch, and you are all that era. The Revenge era, the MTV Unplugged era, is all going to be in Vegas together. Wouldn't it be fantastic to celebrate the 30th anniversary of MTV Unplugged by doing it in Vegas? It would be low stress, on Paul's voice, on the band. You could sit around like you did for MTV, and those are the kind of things that the KISS fans love, is something unique and different, and it has some nostalgia, but a lot of people missed out on those KISS expos. Maybe a lot of them weren't even born, right? And now you're celebrating that 30th anniversary. Why not do it again while you guys are all there and healthy?
You know, I never thought of it, and I realize, you know, that has to be driven by either the promoter talking to Paul and Gene and then feeling like, yeah, this makes sense, this would be great. And I mean, just us talking about it, maybe it filters up, you know, to the powers that be. You know, you never know.
Yeah.
But I will admit that I've taken some liberties with how much fun it would be to play Unplugged. I'll rewind to a thing that Lisa and I put together. That it was the Bruce Kulick New Year's Eve experience here in Las Vegas.
Remember it well.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
It was very bold.
Yes.
It was very hard to make people understand it, but it was going to be 2 days, and there's going to be a show on New Year's Eve and a nice banquet room here in Vegas. And the other day, besides things in the afternoon, but the other day was going to be an evening performance at a nice restaurant that everybody would enjoy. And it was my band, the Cruise Band, Brent, Todd, Zach, doing Unplugged. And that's what we did. Okay.
It was awesome.
And it came off great, you know. Believe me, there were only probably 40 or 50 people that attended. You know, that was expensive for me, but I had to charge something. It's not necessarily that expensive compared to some of the other pricings for things. But the point is, I've always liked doing that. I've done. I had plans before this news of, you need open heart surgery in April. You know what I mean? Yeah. That I was talking with Lisa about just doing something even locally here. Either if my guys weren't around, I would do it with a couple of backing track or some other guys and Lisa singing because she's got Paul's range. I would absolutely do that because that album, and I'm glad the entire year is kind of MTV Unplugged, if you know what I mean, because really March was when the record came out. And I did a video for that. I did another video with my video guy, Andrew Scambati, who's excellent, for, you know, to kind of tie in with this. And that one talked a little more about the conventions and everything and how it was born. And he had some wonderful footage to share too, which was great. And then my VO was there. But that's because I was always wondering, when are they going to put it out? What happened? I was hoping. I noticed that they don't actually do the real anniversaries. Okay, you know what I mean?
Right.
But I also, and here's another. This is not a gripe. This is just, reality. You know, my era was the 80s and 90s. Okay, and the makeup years of KISS were 70s into early 80s. Okay, which. You know, those are those 50th anniversaries that they're going wild about. They haven't dropped any. In other words, everything that they have at their disposal to release, you know, they're doing. Okay.
Yes.
And then I always feel that, but I do get it that anything from my era is not going to necessarily sell as well because the fan base might not be as big as the makeup stuff. Because that's what started this whole, you know, mega band. So, you know, that era stuff doesn't seem to get like how we started this conversation, the ultimate deluxe box set. You know, I know I would always love a revenge one. I don't even know if there could be one for Crazy Nights. You know, that record's loved and hated too. You know, I mean, practically any of my albums from my era have that, you know, with the fans. But so are some of the early.
They're loved. They're loved.
Yeah. Oh, thank you. But you get what I mean. And
yes,
and I don't know if Universal or Pophouse completely gets it. They were pretty cool with Asylum, and they finally broke the wall with some merchandise that represented Eric Carr and myself.
Yep.
Hallelujah. You know.
After Backlash.
Yeah. No, true. You're right.
Right? After photos or was it a T-shirt?
They had a T-shirt with just Paul and Gene.
Yeah, they cut you out. And fans organically flipped out.
I know.
And they changed it.
Yep. And they did it the right way. I mean, this was something official. I knew about it. I had an agreement with them. It was all, and it's not like I was trying to, hijack the project. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
There are people that, you can't you can't ask them, we want to do this, and they're so, just askew of what.
Yeah, we know of someone like that.
Yeah, okay. But
you don't have to say.
But it didn't happen for Unplugged, but I understand it also because it's 6 guys, and if they're going to just market it about the reunion because that's the way they see it, okay, then you don't need necessarily to sell a shirt of me with the band or whatever, even though you saw what the merch was. It was mostly like just a tribute with instruments and things. It's kind of strange,
Yep.
But again, I don't work for the merch company or Pophouse to say I think you could do something a little better because it's not my call. It's not my money. I don't own it. You know what I mean? But again, the fact that my ear I'm always going to feel like any anniversary release I'm happy about, but I'm aware already. I'm not expecting any to be quite as deluxe as what they've been doing for the makeup years.
So I kind of want to take a little detour off of something what you kind of just said. The impression that I have, and I don't know if Tom agrees with me, is Pophouse has agreements, obviously, with Gene and Paul. But in order to do things, they need to have sort of agreements with the rest of the members for likeness and things like that. Do you have a relationship with them? And you can answer this if you can, or if you can't, that's fine.
No.
Are you like on a retainer with them? Like certain things like, hey, Bruce, we're doing this Vegas event. You're part of the family. You'll get this much. Or, hey, Bruce, we're releasing this. So you're on this. You're part of our group. You'll be compensated this way. Are people like yourself, Eric, even Vinny, or, Ace's Estate or Peter, like, is there a thing where Pophouse has something with you guys in order so that there's no messiness about releasing future items, merch, or events like KISS Vegas?
I mean, it might be hard for the average fan to totally grasp this, but I'll try to keep it as simple as possible. Any record I did and anything that appears on a record or anything, Universal owns. That was part of that was my job and I was paid. Okay.
Yep.
I wrote a song, there's some money, but that's really a different way. Okay. And I don't, I didn't write enough that's going to make a big difference. Likeness wise, for example, putting me on merchandise since they bought KISS from Gene and Paul. I don't think they need their permission. Okay. But they would need, some contact with me, an agreement with me or Eric Carr's estate. Okay. And if they were using Vinny, I guess they'd have to reach out to Vinny. Okay. But you brought up something else. For me, just understand that anything on a record, I like the way it likes my hands. Okay. Anything on a record, okay, belongs to the record company. It can be marketed and put out without permission from any of the people that are part of that because it already existed. It's there. And that's why sometimes the marketing is only going to include, variables of the actual pieces of the record. Okay. Mm-hmm. If they were going to do other things, possibly, especially if it had likeness or things like that, like they don't need, my permission to show rehearsal footage or things like that. It was all chronicled and everything, and they're not selling it; they're just showing it to everybody. Mm-hmm. What would happen if they wanted to sell that stuff? I'm not really familiar, but I do know on merchandise, they would have to reach out because I wasn't part. And here's the important part: I wasn't part of the Pophouse deal. Mm-hmm. Neither was Peter or Ace, of course. Regarding how Eric and Tommy are related to that, very confusing, and I don't know. Okay. But here we are where Pophouse can put out all the records with Universal and do it, however they like. If they'd like to, let's say for Crazy Nights, that should be coming up next year. If they want to do a cool Crazy Nights image, they'll speak to my manager and I, and I'm sure we can come to an agreement about a cool looking T-shirt and no one's going to get hurt. You know what I mean? But I think it's another reason why you notice the images of Ace and Peter on the disc. They're from the performance. They're from the record or from the inner thing. They didn't have to go to Ace's estate, whoever that is now, or Peter, and say, we want to use this. You know what I mean? And in fact, I saw Peter supported the record. He tweeted it on his Twitter or something. You know, he reshared what KISS did. This is something he's proud of. He should be proud of it. I'm happy about that because I know, you know, he may not jump into a lot of the other KISS albums, but this one was kind of special. He got to sing the song that truly defines one of the biggest hits, if not, you know, well, I don't want to get into that, but one of the biggest hits from the band, you know. So there are certain red lines and lines in the sand, Zeus, that you got to be careful of, that they need to watch. But, you know, I still think it could all be, you know, figured out. You know, it all depends on their desire, how much they want to, you know, share and do. That's all.
And so, like, KISS Vegas is a one-off.
Oh, yeah, that part.
You're not on a contract with them. So they say, oh, Bruce, part of the contract, you got to come and show. It's like they're hiring Bananarama to play at the KISS event. They're contacting Bruce Kulick as a performer and hiring you separately. You're not part of a KISS deal or anything like that.
Right. Just remember that as much as Pophouse, from what I understand, is extremely supportive of Vibey and Topeka Entertainment putting on KISS Cruise Landlocked, there's a real promoter, and that promoter is a wonderful man, Anthony Diaz, who happened to be the guy responsible for all the real KISS cruises through a company called Six Man.
Yep.
And he wound up leaving Six Man and starting his own, where he does these events. Most of them are in Florida. They're very successful and they're well done. In fact, at one point, I think KISS considered, do we do it in Florida? Maybe not. You see what I mean? And then it became something here in Vegas. So I'm booked for that. The easiest way to say it is similar to who's going to book me for the cruise. Okay. Yep. Which is why it is a great connection. And it was Paul who came in and wanted that a major adjustment last year, because before the KISS Armey, whatever it was called originally,
invades Vegas.
Yeah. And he didn't like it. Gene was just like maybe he didn't care, but he didn't focus on it. And it was Paul that spearheaded and got that back on that train back on the track there, and called it KISS Cruise Landlocked. And I thought that was great, and they agreed. And then they rebranded it. And this one comes out. You notice there's no drama this time, right? None. Eric's in the band, okay. Yep. It's four guys. You already know what they're going to do. You know, I think last year's missteps or things that seemed unnatural. A lot of it, everybody had to like figure out what is post KISS. You get what I mean? Because Pophouse comes in, owns the home, shall I say, of KISS, as Paul would sometimes say. I didn't like the way they were painting it. You know what I mean? Which was a funny quote, and that's why he repainted that event. But now everything's, I think, much more calmed down. Everybody knows the relationships between everybody. And I would just be a hard gun like I ever was, anyway. And that's nothing I have any gripe about at all. So no, I wouldn't even say Gene and Paul necessarily have that. You have to do these events. I don't know their contract. I don't know.
Yeah.
But they're the ones that received a nice paycheck for selling the brand, But I do know Pophouse really does want them to be happy. I always liked all the people that I've ever dealt with and spoke to. I really liked. Now, there's a lot of higher ups that maybe don't get it. At the Kennedy Center Honor, I met some important people from Pophouse, and they were lovely. And I had a great conversation. In fact, that day, when I was at the Kennedy Center, someone in Sweden was posting a huge KISS event. And, Pophouse is Swedish. So I pull it up on my phone right away, and I go, you see this? This is your country. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And she was, if she wasn't aware, she became aware. But she knew. And I was bragging about KISS and just bragging that this is so awesome. You know what I mean? And you should be aware of it. But I do know when you got a company like Pophouse, it's just a huge company. And they're not going to necessarily, I know their intentions are to be sure to make everybody happy, but I'm not sure it's that easy. You know what I mean? Yeah, and there's a lot of cooks, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'm always hoping for the best. And if I can give my 2 cents, I do. That's all.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. Well, that's why I have one final question. I want to kind of back up a little bit to MTV Unplugged, the era itself. And I know this is a sensitive topic, but I'd be remiss as a KISS fan. I've thought about this for 30 years, and we have you here to talk about it. When Paul and Gene decided that Ace and Peter and the four of them were going to put the makeup on and do the reunion tour. Was there any discussion or wishful thinking or anything, or at that point, did you know that that was the end of your time in the band, or did you think this would be a reunion? They'd put the makeup on, they'd take it off, and they'd come back and continue being KISS with Bruce Kulick and Eric Singer?
You know, it's a great question, Tom. And business-wise, Gene and Paul, they're incredibly astute at times, okay? And this was another brilliant move that they made. They wanted to keep Eric and I on salary for that year because they didn't know what could happen. I don't think they ever thought it wouldn't be successful, but they also didn't know what would happen with Ace and Peter. And let's say that imploded, you know, God forbid, and it didn't. It took a lot longer for them to start leaving the fold. But my point is, by keeping Eric and I, that showed that they were always very, very happy working with us. They were, you know, musically, professionally, personally, you know, and that's why Eric and Tommy lasted so long too, because they just know how to do the job. Okay. And not cause major issues like certain members have, even non-original ones, as you're aware. So I think at that point, look, we're going to do this for a year. That was exactly what I heard. And then we can go back and then we'll readdress everything. Now, I kind of knew that it was like, if this thing starts off at Tiger Stadium, you know, why wouldn't it go on much longer? And then the whole concept of all those fans never getting the chance to see them in makeup, and then the ones that wanted to see them in makeup again. So the floodgates were open, huge success, making all this money, and obviously bye-bye to my era, you know what I mean? And that was the end of it. But again, in the beginning, it was never presented that way because what if? It's not like they wanted KISS to end, but they didn't want, what would happen if then I got another gig or Eric and I were like, you know, you just left me, you know, with no job, and that wasn't true. So as painful as it was for Eric and I always give big thumbs up to the way that the fact that I was covered for a year to land on my feet, shall I say, and then at the same time, I know they did that as well because that was smart for them to do that because they didn't know what was going to happen. You know what I mean? I mean, it's not the same as you divorce someone because you want to, you know, suddenly go, you know, get serious with the one that you're having an affair with, but you can like, you know, keep that one just in case, you know what I mean?
Right.
But in business, you can do this, you know what I'm saying? So it worked out for all of us, even though, of course, I lost the gig and moved on. And I will admit, you know, that was hard for me because at times I felt like this strong, great playing band now gets kind of like lost because of the hype and the power of seeing those guys credibly do it too. They were good.
Oh, absolutely.
You know?
Yeah.
So they, you know, and again, Gene and Paul being smart, like, okay, Peter, you got to get yourself in shape. You got to take, you know, refresh yourself. Ace, the same thing. I think Tommy was helping Ace or something, you know? So they did everything they needed to do to make it successful, and it was. And so that was the end of my era. And that's why that gig was, the Unplugged gig was the last official big performance by the band. A footnote, we did a short set for the Mark and Brian Christmas show in December of that year. But again, that's not a KISS gig. That was just something we got up and it appeared. Right. I wouldn't exactly call that my real last gig with the band compared to what we accomplished on Unplugged, you know?
Yeah.
Right. I appreciate the answer, Bruce. Really, thank you. I've always wanted to ask about that, so thank you.
So, Bruce, one of the things that we do, we always like to switch things up on this show. We always do once a year an album by a KISS member that's not in the KISS discography. So last year we did this,
right?
And that is BK3 for those that can't see.
And the album fucking rocks.
Thank you.
Absolutely love it. Now, I listened to it when it came out and stuff, and I liked it and stuff. But like a lot of stuff in that era, I put it on the side. So we're like, okay, let's review. What are we going to do this year? We're like, okay, let's do BK3. I always remember liking it. I listen to this constantly still now.
Oh, great.
I absolutely love it.
It's awesome.
And what I regret is, like, obviously the Bruce Kulick band can go out there and kick ass. And I know you have other great tunes. You just dropped a bunch of a couple new things on vinyl now, right? Reissues of your previous Audio Dog and a few others, right?
And Transformer.
Transformer.
Yeah. Awesome stuff.
So why can't you go out and do a tour, pull out some KISS tunes, and start doing some soul? There's no reason why some of these bands that are out there, you can't do as well as they can. And if you pulled out some tracks from here, oh man, I'd be in heaven. I think this album is one of the best. I think we had one or two as best non-KISS member album outside of
it's always done pretty well with Ultimate Classic Rock. I remember they had all the solo records and all that from KISS members.
I think we had Hand of the King as our favorite track, right? Both of us, Tom.
Oh, it's
that might be the first real recording of Nick, and look what they're doing now.
Yeah, exactly.
And
I mean, I thought that was the Gene track when I first heard it.
Yeah. I hear what you're saying, and that was really smart. Gene, I asked him to sing on my record, and he agreed, which was wonderful. Which is that song "Ain't Gonna Die." But what was amazing was then he said, I'd love Nick to do something with you. Oh, sure, okay. You know what I mean. It was like, and then we wound up filming some of it for that Family Jewels, which was fun. But honestly, touring is not easy, guys. Okay, now. Those cruises always get a great reaction. There's been some promoters that have approached me. The money is always, considering I don't have a real track record, I'm not saying it's poop, the money.
Yeah.
But when I start actually looking at it and knowing what costs have to be covered and everything, it doesn't get that exciting. That's number one. Number two, then my guys who are I'll call them my A-team, right, which is Todd, Zach, and Brent. And you know how talented they are.
Yep.
And now look what two of the three of them just did for Triumph.
Incredible.
And then what they consistently do for Slash when the two of them are out there, okay? And then they have their side project called Took, which is an excellent Canadian kind of content band that they go do dates with. Zach is always like gigging with a million people. These
Jerry
are all
Cantrell, he does a lot of stuff.
I mean,
tons of stuff.
These guys are wonderful, and they're always all of them will perform with me at this upcoming November show. And I'm obviously hoping Triumph doesn't go anywhere near the middle of November, okay? And I know I'll be speaking to Brent this week. Todd says it's in my calendar, so I gotta presume nothing crazy will happen. But honestly, I don't know when it's not that I have to rely on those guys, though they are my, primary people that I'd like to play with, okay? Because there are many really talented people.
Ace's band is around right now, and Ryan's a great guy.
No, I get
Jeremy,
it.
Those guys are around.
I got to give a shout out to Joe McGinnis because he wound up helping me out a few times.
So good.
And I'll tie this into, you brought up BK3, and I just wanted to make a mention that, I talked about once I left Grand Funk at the end of 23, so 24 and 25 were my first years where I could say, well, I don't like to call it retired, but semi-retired, where I could just pick and choose what I want to do instead of being a slave to a schedule for a band that I didn't have an actual, it wasn't my legacy, is what I say. So I did want that freedom, and I've done really well just concentrating on the things that are me, and what I've done as a KISS member and a guitarist. So I miss those guys, and it was great music, but it wasn't enough. But I always used to talk about two things. I'm working on a book. Okay, that was number one. I'm working on new music. Okay. Now, both of them were not lies in 24 or 25, but I'm guilty as charged that for whatever reason, and I'm telling you, I'm not a lazy guy, anybody that knows me, I don't know how I didn't really kind of get more committed and spend time with either one of them. Now, for the book, I mostly have all these like concepts of stories that I want to do. I've had very credible co-writers approach me, and I don't want that, not at least at this time, and I want to do it myself. Well, that means I'm going to have to lock myself in a room and really work on it. The music, there were starts and stops. I have a great idea, record it on my demo studio, play it for Todd. He listens to it. He's got an idea or two, and then he's gone on the road again, right? And then a screeching halt. And then maybe 6 months later, I put together a couple other new ideas, and then I'm trying to figure out, well, what do I do with this? I don't know yet. But the great news is this surgery thing and the recovery, it was just remarkable that my doctor, my primary, that's the one that, manages everything. And she was wonderful. She said, all right, you're home now. I want you to make sure you do your music. Make sure you work on music. You need to work on music. And I was like looking at it going like, wait a minute, she's supposed to talk about my iron's low or my thyroid this, And then, no, well, he told me not to play guitar for 3 months. He meant perform, run around on stage with a 10-pound guitar on my shoulder, which I already did not have in my schedule, okay? The first things are autograph shows that I'm going to with Lisa in August and September. I enjoy those. Then there's that big event that I know you guys have talked about, Gene Simmons, Legends of Rock, right here.
That's the one that really piques my interest more.
Sure, and I get that. Well, it's very different too. It's like the ultimate autograph show with rock and roll people.
Exactly.
Most of them are very varied. With his TV stars, movie stars, comic book writers, anime. You know what I mean? Then a wrestler.
They're all former guests of ours.
I was going to say we've had them almost all of them have been on the show.
yeah. But the promoter David, along with David Hainan and Gene, have done an unbelievable job putting that together with some great artists. I'm so thrilled to be part of it, and I'm really glad that Tommy and Eric will be there too. Okay, and if you can't figure out why Paul wouldn't be there, what's the title of the show?
Gene Simmons, Legends of Rock.
Thank you. Okay, enough said. Okay, and I respect that. Okay, because why should Paul be at a Gene Simmons event? It would have to be the Paul and Gene Simmons event.
That caused a little bit of a nasty conversation on somebody posted something on our group page about, hey, I wonder what Paul's not here. And I think Christina jumped in, and all of a sudden it was a back and forth. And it's like, jeez, what the heck?
I mean, I'm really glad that, and I missed this. But by the way, I was always invited to KISS event in Indianapolis, the KISS Blues event. It was too close to the surgery. Not a chance. Okay. I didn't see anybody. I didn't do anything. I just walked every morning with Lisa, ate healthy, took care of myself because I had to go in there strong. Okay. Knowing that I'm going to be chopped up and, opened up like that. So, and I'm sure, when Keith's ready for another one, I'll be there with bells on, of course. Okay. But my point is, I have all these events coming up, so I'm real excited about them. But when that doctor said do music, then the next thing I'm going like I wanted to revisit some of the song ideas, right? And the very first one, I found this theme that was really haunting to me, and I didn't show it to Todd or anybody else. I didn't get a chance yet to develop it. And then all of a sudden, I'm sitting there like, believe me, I took so many naps. You have no idea when you're recovering from surgery like that. Oh God! After every meal,
or you're just old.
I mean? No. I mean, I got a beautiful recliner, and I know how to. But I've never napped so much in my life. But very common in that recovery because your whole body's healing. Yeah. It's just a crazy thing. I mean, it's a miracle how the body knows what to do. But you gotta give it that rest. So right away I started developing a song, and I couldn't think of anything else but to write this one for Lisa, actually, and it's called Without Her. And what it represents is I couldn't have survived without her, okay?
Wow.
And the music, to give you a parallel, since, Zeus, you talked about BK3, it's very much like I'll Survive, okay?
Okay.
Meaning it's trippy, it's mellow, it's me singing low, but I'm not just singing it. It's not just a love song for Lisa. Those are the choruses. I'm describing my surgery, the recovery, and then, of course, the fact that she was there for me, and there's a guitar solo that I'm taking it off my demo studio, and that's the one I want on the record. There was just something so emotional about it, and I couldn't believe I was creating like that. So now I'm like, okay, this is great. I know I want to work on the vocals a little more and everything else. Joe heard it. And he's like, let me put some backgrounds on it, right?
Nice.
So the next thing I know, he's doing all these like background beatly pads, which, by the way, I asked Zach where are you? Because I know Zach would have been able to do something like that.
Yeah.
Oh, here's my schedule. And he showed me my schedule. Like I was dizzy. You know what I mean? Meaning, barely home in Las Vegas and corporate gig, a band gig, a wedding to perform at, you know what I mean? And he's everywhere. And I love the guy dearly. So I didn't even say anything to him. And next thing I know, Joe in his home studio, and I've worked with Joe on the quarantine stuff, so I'm aware of that. So he goes ahead and sends me those vocals. I drop them in, and now I'm like, oh, this is great. So now, actually, that brings me to a funny thing where I happen to bump into that Phantoms album.
Fantastic.
Yes,
absolutely right.
It's incredible.
It just literally fell off my shelf, and I go like, I never ripped this. This is great. And if you can't find it online, right?
Nope.
So I had to rip it, right? So now I'm putting it into my music iTunes. Right. And that's, and then all of a sudden Joe texts me like shortly after that, because I'm going, who sang are you doing these songs? He said, yeah, that's me. I'm like, oh my God, unbelievable. Right. Because he sings like a vintage Paul Stanley.
It's incredible.
So then within hours of that day, you should show that because it needs a shout out. They're amazing.
I have like a few of them. Yeah.
And I forgot that Charlie was on that because I was invited to the wedding. Gene did the vows and everything here in Vegas, and that was another terrific connection. But Joe just ironically says, you got anything else you want to work on? I mean, if you have any original. I'm like, I'm sending you a couple of things very soon, right? And then all of a sudden, like within a day, he gets back to me with what he's hearing for one of those two. And I fucking was so excited. I was just like, you hit this right. And we FaceTimed. I mean, he lives on the East Coast. I'm here in Vegas. Yeah. And now we're almost finished with a demo of a killer song. You guys would love it because it
sure, send it along. No problem.
Yeah.
Are we going to get the Bruce Kulick vault? Is this going to be like?
Yeah. No, I want to do it will really be a new something, an EP or a record. I haven't figured it out yet.
Awesome.
Then I hit up another local friend of mine who's like I'm so tight with, and he plays with a country band and a punk band called The Bones, but he has this other project called Paper Cowboy. You might know him as one of the guys that works with Gene, Patrick. Okay, Patrick and Christina work with Gene very well.
Yep.
So Patrick's an incredible musician and singer. We all did a wedding together where he backed Lisa on keyboards when at this wedding for a fan. But I just said, I got a couple of songs, we want to look at any of these. That was actually before I went in surgery. So he finally records which one he liked. And I was just like, oh my God, this is unbelievable. So what I'm trying to say is, just between Joe and Pat, and then what I did on my own, I now have, and I do have some older things that Todd finished with me that I knew I had in the can. And there's another one that the guys we all cut, Zach, Brent, and Todd and I during the pandemic. So, I mean, there's a basis for a real record here. I don't have it figured out yet. I'm not telling you what I'm doing. I don't know. But I've never been more driven by, getting it done. Okay.
It's amazing.
And why I didn't get it done in 24 and 25. I don't want to admit and say it took heart surgery for me to want to do it. You know what I mean? But it just almost seems like that. And that's kind of weird, but I'm so thrilled with the music.
That's awesome.
One other song that I haven't written yet, but I'll give you the title. It's so funny. I'm obsessed with this title because when you have your sternum cracked open like that, you can't sleep on your side. I'm a side sleeper. Okay.
Yes.
So you got to sleep like a vampire.
Oh.
That's the song title. Nobody ripped that off, okay?
Sleep like a vampire?
I sleep like a vampire, yeah. You got to have like a pillow on each side of you. You can only be on your back, and you got to lie there. Maybe you can you should keep yourself propped up. I have one of those flex fit kind of platforms for the bed. And I just kept saying Louisa, all right, here I go again. I got to sleep like a vampire. Now that's past. I'm able to sleep on my side now. Thankfully, I'm past that point. But for 8 weeks, some people do it before they test it out and they see how it feels. But I'm healed enough that I can sleep on my side. But yeah, so I got to find a nice, ugly riff that will fit like I sleep like a vampire.
Yeah.
Just something. It's that just a title.
It seems like a Gene collaboration.
No, I know, and I got to fool around. Maybe Gene will sing it for me.
Be careful. Maybe Gene will take that title.
Or he'll take the title.
Yeah. like him and Paul used to do.
Yeah.
Right?
Bruce, you can't copyright a title.
Yeah,
exactly.
It's already Bruce. It's already copywritten. Good luck.
Right. But you get exactly, or one way or the other. Or he used to say if we would repeat a joke of his, he'd go copyright.
Yeah,
that was always a joke. So between the music and obviously feeling better, and I tell you, you see things through a new light, and I want to remove any of the chatter or the stress,
Yeah.
And I'll admit, some of my friends were unbelievable with me, always checking on Lisa. Some just didn't reach out, and I'll be honest, I felt a little bad, but I also feel like when one of them reached out about something recently, I actually called them out on it, not meanly. I just said, I was really hurt. I didn't hear from you. And they explained, and then they realized, and then now it's a hug and a handshake and a kumbaya. Do you get what I mean? But it's important that I can't tell you how much it meant to me, all the fans that were reaching out, and I know not everyone's capable of it because they don't even want to think about it because, oh my God, if that was me, I don't know, what I could do. And, because I know it's hard, but that's just me pontificating on people and life. And what can I say? But all that really does count. And obviously having, a family, and to see Lisa just 24/7, take care of me like that. Was just something really, really important, and it touched me. Yeah, it's endearing. And I've had a couple of people ask what happens, and we talked about it earlier. You got to go to. They can't send you home. You can't be alone. You got to go to rehab. And I did think about it. What are the people who don't? She sat with me like as she didn't sleep overnight because it wasn't like I was going to expire. She needed to rest. But, she was there like 10 hours a day, hanging out and just, what are we doing? I'm going from a sip of water to crashed out to like, oh, we got to take blood. Okay, now we got to take a picture. How you doing? Look at the food and you're like, There's nothing worse than being in the hospital for a week. But if you have a family person there, someone who loves you, and if you have a good staff that knows you're a former KISS guitar player, they treat you pretty nice, okay?
That's awesome.
Yep. I love it.
That's
awesome. It's so awesome to hear, Bruce.
Yeah.
So I'm excited about all these events.
We are too.
People write me and thank you. I mean, they I don't know what they know about heart surgery or anything, but no, my intention was always that's why I wanted to get it in April. By the way, I signed that contract for that gig the day before I was going in the hospital. So clearly,
wow.
It was a little weird, but I wanted to commit because there was no reason. The surgeon didn't say I wouldn't be able to do it. You'll be fine, So that's why I'm looking forward to getting out there, meeting the fans, performing. But in the meantime, just doing it right here in my office, writing music and playing guitar. It's healing, guys. That's all I could say, And I will be thanking once again my primary when I see her next week to see the latest blood results, for telling me do your music. It's really important. So I'm really grateful for that.
Well, I can tell you, Bruce, sometimes although people think we're like the center of negativity in KISS world, I can't recall ever any post or any comment, Bruce, I swear to you, that's been negative about Bruce Kulick or Lisa Kulick.
Never.
You have no idea.
Never.
How many people love Gene and Paul, but then how many people hate them or say negative things? We get it all. There is never anybody that says, oh, Bruce stunk on this song, or Bruce is a jerk, or Lisa stinks. Never. It's always 100% positive. The KISS Army loves you.
Well,
and we're not just
that.
telling you from us because we love you, but I'm telling you, Tom, am I wrong?
No, and I can tell you, Bruce, you have we're so proud of the family that we've created just on our little podcast here. And I can tell you right now, everybody is so excited that you're back on your feet and healthy and pushing for you and praying for you, and excited. And when they hear this episode, they're just going to be even that much more excited for all the work that you're doing right now with the new music coming out. And we couldn't be happier and just more pleased to hear that you are in such great shape right now, Bruce.
Wonderful. And I gotta say, just, I'd probably get a lot more press and attention if I was like saying horrible things about other people, petty things, getting into pissing matches and fighting.
That's all it is these days.
You know, but honestly, I think it was the way I was brought up. My parents were like, you don't have anything nice to say about somebody, you don't say it.
Right.
And certainly not publicly,
Right.
And I get it. So for me, it's take the high road. I was a little vocal about the last show for KISS, but
That's
it wasn't.
okay.
I wasn't slamming them. I feel like they missed that
Sure.
opportunity, and the fans felt that way. But I'm just so blessed to be a part of that legacy, and the respect that I have for all of them, and the music and the fans. I can't. Why should I be pooping on anybody?
Yeah, but
Zeus
speaking
has
of
one.
that,
Zeus has
you
one thing
just
he's gonna ask.
reminded me. I'm like, let me turn that around.
Mm-hmm.
We were there in Vegas. Bruce Kulick's coming on stage. Oh shit!
How did we forget to ask this? Go ahead, Zeus.
Okay,
you come on stage, and then I don't know. It almost felt like there was some uncomfortableness, like that you were like, "Is it okay if I stand over here and play?" Or,
Zeus looked over at me, and Zeus looked over at me. He's like, "I think that's Bruce." We're like, "Why is he coming out?"
They didn't make it like Bruce Kulick. You come out, and it just seemed like at some point you're like, "Okay, I don't want to shine too much and put any light on me. I'll just stay here and play rhythm and smile. Hey guys." And then just, and then Paul later apologized a little bit. There was some awkwardness there, Bruce. I don't know. That's how I felt that you came out there and you're like, wait a minute. This doesn't seem like they like that I'm out here. Not the fans, but you kind of just like, let me just sit in the back and unassuming, just play the rhythm and be okay. Can you tell us a little bit about that? I'm sorry, you just reminded me.
Yeah. I mean, look, it was covered in the press quite a few ways, but more from Paul actually really feeling bad about it. And he wound up apologizing after the show. And then the next morning I'm getting texts from him. And then, of course, he opened up the Q&A with this whole thing. I have to start this with an apology to Bruce,
Yeah.
And it was really weird because so what was supposed to happen was I'd come out for Lick It Up, okay, the last song. And then I remember I discussed it with Eric, and I have no reason to not believe Eric, okay? And Eric was like, Paul almost like cut out Lick It Up, and everybody was like, in other words, there was a little confusion to the end of the show. Paul went right into it, never should have, probably should have said something, but at that point, Eric claimed he didn't even know what song was next, and it was there. And then all of a sudden, there I am. So the reason why I'm sheepishly crawling out on stage, this can only happen with KISS, you know what I mean?
Course.
Is that Paul counts off and starts a song without remembering that, okay, this is when Bruce is going to sit in, because I'm sure I know he was aware of it, but almost didn't even do the song, right? Of course, Rock and Roll All Night was next with the confetti and all that.
Yeah.
But Tommy's the one I gotta give him big thumbs up, and he's like, "Get out here!" Because I'm like, "Don't want to wait." All of a sudden there he is. Paul's singing, and I'm like, "Wait a minute, I'm over here." The pedal board just barely made it out there, right? And then Tommy's like, "Get out here!" And he's waving to me, and my dear friend Stoney Curtis, who's a great guitar player, who wanted to be my tech, okay, which I gratefully said, sure, okay, because he really was a lifesaver, because he gets it, okay, and he gets everybody. So he's running out there, setting it up and everything, and then he's like, okay, you're okay. So now I'm like, and Tommy's like, get out here, So now I'm like, I kind of like creepily, stepping out, and let's face it, at that point of the song, it's not real important, like whether or not, excuse me, I'm I don't need to be too close to anybody. But by the time it came to the solo, I got to be featured. Now, some people thought that was the coolest thing, not to be introduced, because everybody knows who I am. You know what I mean? But But it was awkward, Zeus. It was.
Yeah.
And then I'm thinking, how could Paul forget me? That's why Gene ran over and screamed out, Bruce Kulick, you know what I mean? And then it went right into Rock and Roll All Night. And I know Paul was caught up in the moment. Look, they hadn't played together in a long time. They did that without any what, okay? Yep. They were raw, okay? They did a great job. I thought it was amazing. No click, no backgrounds, nothing helping, okay? It was a real show. And the fans loved it. And what can I say? I mean, Paul was genuinely, felt bad that it didn't happen. And it gave me a lot of press that way, but still, it was a real thrill. It really was a thrill. I loved it, and then to be up there for rock and roll night with all the confetti and all, it was a lot of fun. So
our complaint was though, like, why isn't Bruce coming out to a Bruce era song?
Yeah, exactly. Why is he coming out to Lick It Up? That's what we were like, what the hell?
That's where we were like, that doesn't make sense. But in addition to that, we were saying, like, look at Tommy is the one telling Bruce. You can see, we could see it.
We could
from
see
the crowd. He's like, go, Bruce, go. And you're like, I'm all set. Let me just stay over here. I don't know what's going on.
No, I did. I mean, to be honest, Tommy and I went over the material, the arrangement, so this was all planned out. And it was something that the promoter wanted to see happen and was going to happen. It's just a little, mix up that way, but it still came off great. Those photos I got from that were priceless for me. You know what I mean?
It was
and
awesome.
It felt amazing to be up there with all of them,
Yeah, we actually thought that you not being introduced may have been part of the thing, because Zeus and I were there. We're kind of right up front, middle, and we're looking like, well, that's Zeus. That's Zeus. That's Bruce. He's coming over. He's over by the side of the stage. So we thought that was part of it, that you were just going to make your way onto the stage to the roar of the crowd.
Right,
and then all of a sudden we're like, wait, I think, and then we see Tommy. I'm like, no, somebody fucked up here. Something's wrong.
Because Tommy, as you can see, he's like motioning to you. Come on, Bruce. Come on. Egging you
guys
on.
caught that then. Yeah.
we did.
We could see that he was telling you. And so off the record, we were like, what a dick Paul is. He didn't even introduce him. And he's making him feel like he's not. Does he want him part of the show? Yeah. And the rest of the band does? Gene says his name. Tommy's egging him on, and Paul forgets.
Yeah, that's why I never felt it was intentional. I think it was just in the moment. It was a screw up, and then, but and Gene saying my name said, everyone knows I'm up there.
Yeah,
right.
So it was still a great feeling. It was unique, of course, and it got a lot of press in that way. But what doesn't in the KISS world, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Did you see there was a post recently? That Ultimate Classic Rock, and they're good to stir the stuff.
Yes,
up
we saw it.
We do a lot of stuff on them.
Go ahead. We want. So all of a sudden, doing an episode on this. But go ahead, Bruce.
They randomly picked like 4 records that were the poopy KISS albums, or however they wanted to call it.
Disappointing. They called them. Yes.
So 2 of them are my era. I expected that. I expected maybe more. I don't know. Yep. But oh my God, I couldn't read it. There was like 1,200 comments on my thing. I just shared it, and I didn't even say a word, but I did say, actually, I don't exactly agree with this, but everyone, that's the one thing about KISS fans. They all have their opinion, and clearly, what can I say? Some of them are keyboard commandos, and they get wild, and
It was a great post. It was a great post that you had, because 2 of the albums, like, correct me if I'm wrong, I think it was Crazy Nights and Hot in the Shade.
Yes.
Yeah. And again, KISS fans are like, I mean, we talk about Ultimate Classic Rock all the time. We actually had one of the guys who writes for Ultimate Classic Rock come on a couple weeks ago and
defend your shit.
They love KISS shit, because they know it gets tons of interaction.
They've actually been very supportive of me, and I've done some wonderful interviews with them, so I like them.
Yep.
I don't mind if they want to post an opinion about something.
Yeah.
And let's face it, there's so much about what's online now that you're trying to get people to click. What I mean? You guys are always tagging me on anything. Especially if I'm related. I get it, but I don't mind. I like them discussing it, because then they can share the love and stand up for it, or go like, I wouldn't have thought that.
Well, if it was Turn on the Night, I'd understand, but not.
Yeah.
I mean, we love that album. I don't know about that song. Yeah.
We've had this conversation before.
Oh, so you guys discussed it.
Yes,
but honestly, that I got to give props to Crazy Nights, and then we'll wrap this thing up.
Yeah,
sure.
Before my voice goes away.
Yep.
All right, so Eric has played with a million amazing guitar players. Okay, from Gary Moore to he was with Alice Cooper. He was in Black Sabbath with Tony Iommi. Okay, but he played with Brian May. Okay, I love Brian. Not only as a guitarist and the Queen thing, what he's able to create, but also as a human being. He's just wonderful. So, unbelievably, the only real KISS song that Brian knows is Crazy Nights. Okay, because of England, because of it being such a hit. And he had that conversation with Eric. He goes like, so who's playing guitar? This is Kiss. Who's playing guitar in that, Bruce? And he knows me. I've met him quite a few times, and he was like, "Yeah, that's cool. I like, I mean, so like anytime I think of somebody criticizing Crazy, but Brian May likes it.
Brian May likes
it, and he knows
awesome.
like he finally heard something that I did in Kiss because of that, because of being a hit there. That's all.
So Jericho is also the other biggest fan of you.
Oh, absolutely.
Right? Let's say the truth.
I love
he
Chris.
Doesn't stop the Bruce Kulick flag. He waves it.
He's
proudly.
very supportive, and we're tight. He loves Lisa's son is a big wrestling fan, so they're friends.
Nice.
And he's like family to me.
Yep.
And I love all the Quarantine guys. I'm close with Kent the drummer. And of course now Joe. And in fact this morning I just got a message from Charlie, the South American guitar player guy, and he's like, "I'm so glad you're doing well. I moved to Spain, and he's huge overseas. He's just
he's got an incredible following over there.
Yeah, that's what unbelievable.
I mean,
and yet he'll come to America and just play Lick It Up. It's kind of funny. But Chris is also going to be at the November event, which is great.
Yep.
And what can I say? I mean, anyone that wants to support my era, I'm very, very happy about. But clearly, it's not going away, and I think there's still a lot of passion. If anything, it's just growing.
Yep, absolutely.
You're the reason for it, Bruce.
You're the reason for it.
Not the only reason, but you keep
I'm waving
that flag.
Yeah, I do.
You keep waving the flag.
And that's why I'm glad that Unplugged video that I did that came out recently on YouTube's doing well. And I'm looking forward to, there's an autograph show coming up in August, and it's called Big Lick, and that's in Roanoke, Virginia. So I just want to give a little promotion to that.
Please,
and,
absolutely.
And then, of course, the next one will be, actually, there's one before that that's called just like a Comic-Con in Lexington, Kentucky. Sorry, Lexington. Kentucky.
Okay.
And I'm excited about that one, although I don't have my flights booked yet. That's in Labor Day weekend,
Okay.
So Virginia, Kentucky, and then the Gene
event. And then the
Vegas.
Gene thing, and then, of course, the KISS cruise. I mean, it could always be other pop-ups that I wound up jamming with somebody or doing something. But most importantly is keep taking care of myself, continuing with my music, and staying positive, and just being grateful for being alive, we should all be. Right.
We're all grateful for you being alive, buddy.
Well,
Bruce, thank you so much for the time. God bless everybody. We're thrilled that you're doing well. You're feeling strong. You're feeling healthy. Mm-hmm. God bless. Continued success, continued recovery. Again, incredible time. Thank you so much, as always. Glad to have you back, and we can't wait to have you again in the future to talk about Crazy Nights, maybe. Who knows?
Either Crazy Nights or my new album, okay?
Absolutely.
And I know you mentioned earlier the record store day. That was really nice. That happened like days before my surgery. That Transformer was finally
I grabbed
released.
a copy.
Thank you. And I'm proud of that record. I mean, I actually wrote all the songs on that one.
Yep.
And produced it and everything. But this new one will be collaborative. I do prefer that.
Wait.
It's always fun.
Can't wait.
All right, guys. Thanks again.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Bruce. Be well.
Keep in touch.
Thank you, Bruce.
Okay.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Tom, that was the great Bruce Kulick. Thoughts?
Oh, wow. We've had Bruce on a couple times. That was, first of all, I love that he stayed with us for a long time. I'll tell you a couple things I take out of this. I absolutely love and respect his honesty and his defense of his era of the band and his contributions to the band and his contributions to Unplugged. And I know some people may think it's petty. I don't. I love the fact that he's like, yeah, they just released the 30th anniversary of KISS Unplugged on picture discs. Paul, Gene, Peter, and Ace. Where are me and Eric? We were there for 80% of the show. And I also like how he's like, yeah, everybody associates the reunion with Unplugged. There was more to it than that. I like that. That's him saying, fuck yeah, I was in KISS. My era kicks ass. And I want people to pay a little bit more attention to it. He's not naive enough. He obviously understands that all the attention and money is from the makeup and the reunion, the original four. But I was really impressed with his defense of his era and him verbalizing some of the issues he has. That on top of a ton of other awesome stuff we talked about.
Yeah, I enjoyed that he was, protective of his legacy.
Yeah.
And, but he always does it. And the word everybody always comes up when you say Bruce Kulick, one word, class.
Class. Absolutely.
Right?
Always.
Very endearing, hearing how much he loves his wife and how much she did and helped him. He didn't have to go on and on about it.
I loved hearing that about his health and his battles and how he's fighting
how
back.
Awesome his wife is and helped him. Oh my God, that's awesome. Lisa's the KISS Army loves her, and as well as they should. She's fucking incredible, and the way she's been there as a partner for Bruce is endearing. That's all I can say about that part. And then Bruce talking obviously about Unplugged, but then giving us a sneak peek into what he's thinking about for his future. New music, book, all that stuff. Wonderful stuff, Tom. Wonderful.
Yep, it was great. It was really good. And I love that we had that much time with him, and we were able to kind of veer off and talk about other things besides Unplugged, because there's a ton to talk about. Definitely another incredible, if not the best Bruce interview we've had with him. Just great stuff.
Yeah, I think that it's very humbling for us that we have this rapport with him.
Yes.
That when we talk to him, how's your health? And he's like, 30th is coming up. Yeah, I'll come on and I want to do it. Let's time this correctly. He's always such a professional, man. Okay, what platform are we using? I want to make sure my sound is right. I need to drink some fluids and stuff and talk about him. I need to take a break a little bit. And then he had to take a break somewhere in the middle of this interview. And you guys don't know. And he comes right back on. He's like, no, I'm good. Let's go, keep going.
Yep.
And it's very humbling for us.
Yeah, it is.
And we have so much respect for him, and he has respect for you, the Loudcast audience. And very cool. Very cool. Anyway, Tom, let's do what we do next, and that's this.
Hey, what is this? 20 fucking questions?
We're speaking so nicely.
And then we do this.
And then we have to play fucking what's his name from Wise Guys there. Captain Lou Albano as Frankie the Fixer.
A question of the week comes to us from our longtime supporter and the gentleman who loves to give us questions. We try to space them out. That's moving on 266-0850. By the way, speaking of 0850, rest in peace to the legend, Eddie Andelman. If you're from Boston or New England, you know exactly who he was, and you grew up listening to him.
Hey, how are ya?
Exactly. Jambalaya, baby.
Hey, caller, I happen to know Joe O'Donnell.
He loved dropping that name.
Remember that fight he got into with Jose Canseco?
Oh, my God, dude.
You have not done right by the Boston fans.
Oh, brutal. So his question is this. I've been watching the last few Genesis shows featuring Phil Collins unable to play drums and having him sit down, and he is a shell of himself vocally. This is also one of the reasons why I didn't want to see The Who when they came to Fenway. For KISS, what would it have taken for you to say, I'm out? This is not how I want to remember them.
A KISS show without Paul or Gene.
So first of all, I'm going to jump in. I saw that Genesis tour with Phil sitting up front doing vocals while his son played the drums. It was the official reunion. It was a fantastic show. I really thought Phil was great. That being said, so.
Oh, I didn't know his son did that. Okay.
Oh yeah, it was great. His son was.
So I take that back then, Tom. So when the Eagles, like Glenn Fry's dead. Dude, you can't do anything with the Eagles. He's 50% the Eagles. Oh, his son's playing with him. I can dig that. And I actually enjoyed it. So if Evan stood in for Paul, yeah, I could dig that. Same thing with Gene. If Nick stood in for Gene, I could dig that. It wouldn't be the best. Obviously, I prefer the originals, but I could get along with that. But if fucking KISS and God bless, I like Todd Kearns, I ain't doing that.
Yeah.
Unless there was new KISS, a complete band new.
But it was great. His son, Nick Collins, Phil said it was great. But anyways, what would it take to say I'm out? It would have to be no Paul. I need at least Paul and Gene. If one of them is out, I'm out. I think that's where I draw the line. I mean, I'm still on board. I mean, I know we're not going to Vegas, but that's not because of anything like that. That's a different reasons. But in order for me to say I'm out, one of them would have to be gone, in my opinion, Zeus.
Yeah, I can't imagine Paul being up there and then a fake Gene in makeup doing Fire.
No.
And Blood.
No.
It would look so hokey.
Yeah. It'd be ridiculous. It's kind of like what you're seeing now with like Lynyrd Skynyrd and Foreigner, like some bands that have like nobody in the band, but
original. Yeah. But it works with Lynyrd Skynyrd because it was his brother that looked like him that took over.
Oh yeah,
He's been in that band for like 20 years, 25 years now.
That is different. I agree.
When the original members were there.
Yes.
So that's a little different.
I agree.
But the guy from Hurricane playing for Foreigner and nobody else, what are we doing?
Exactly. I know. Great question, my friend, as always. Thank you for the questions and for the support. So thank you.
Tom, where can people find us?
Always start at the website, shoutitoutloudcast.com. That's where you can find all the episodes, all of our rankings, all of our fun interactive stuff on that website. So many links to a bunch of fun things, including the biggest and most important link, which is a link to our #1 Amazon best-selling book, Raise Your Glasses. Links to all of our social media. We're very active on all of those. So please, if for some reason you're not following us on social media, go there and click on the links. Links to our incredible Shout Out Loudcast merch page. Tons of great stuff. If you've been a longtime fan and listener of the show, a lot of inside jokes, some really cool t-shirts and imagery, a lot of good stuff there. Links to our Patreon, as we mentioned earlier in the show, so please check that out. And, of course, our email address, shoutitoutloudcast@gmail.com. We read each and every one of your emails that you send us. Please keep doing that. And we always like to remind everyone that we're a proud member of the Pantheon Podcast Network of shows.
Yeah, you can always DM us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Threads, Blue Sky, TikTok, motherfucker. Check out our Spotify playlist where you go to our profile, not the podcast, and check out the playlist we created there and subscribe to our YouTube channel.
You do.
And give us one of those 5-star child review on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, 5-star review on Amazon. Our book, Raise Your Glasses, still selling well. Thank you. And Tom, I want to make a point to bring up. We are going to have some fascinating new changes to our social media.
Yes.
We've been kind of hinting at it, and you'll see it probably this week. Hall of Famer Daryl Alber is kind of come in as an admin with us, and he's been doing all the shorts and the reels and stuff. But he's going to be creating some posts for us, putting out some more long-form YouTube videos where there's actually videos. So you should subscribe to our YouTube channel and make sure that you're following along. It's a big help, and you're going to see a bunch of different stuff there. And kudos to him. There might be, from time to time, a AI image, Tom.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's going to be a couple interactive things there with some AI imagery, but let's be clear. We've talked about AI before. This is not something that's going to be predominant on our social media. We don't use it for episode promos. We don't use it for anything really, but this is something new that it's going to create some real participation between our supporters and our listeners, some interaction. You guys will see what it is. We hope you like it. We think it's really going to get people going and starting conversations, which is what we love about you guys. So stay tuned for all that exciting stuff.
Yeah. So check that stuff out. Tom, while you were explaining that, Paul just tweeted out a photo of him and his teeth. I mean, him holding a Songwriters Hall of Fame plaque.
Great. Good.
He writes, "Wow, it's hard to find the words. What an honor for me to be inducted into the Songwriters Hall of Fame. All those that inspired me are members. Joining them is truly humbling. Thanks to Gene, my writing partner for 57 years. I never could have done this without him." I only brought that up.
Yeah.
Because it's nice that he said that.
I agree.
And when he does say stuff like that, it makes me happy.
Yes, I agree.
Not difficult, Paul. You should always be like that.
Yep.
But God bless him. Great, Paul. Keep it up, man.
Good stuff.
So, and then you know what Paul will say to us, Tom?
I'm going to fucking kill you.
Oh, if he hears this episode, absolutely.
Anyways, Tom, what we like to do is end on famous last words. You got any?
Hotels that all look the same just seem to drive me insane, but I can't get away until I receive a call that tells me that will be all, and then I hop a plane.
Hello? That'll be all. Oh, okay.
Exactly.
I know it's around. I don't have any doubts about that fact. I'll see you get it tonight. And if I can't, I'll cry and cry. You won't see me without it. And I'll see you tonight.
Nice.
Legendary Hall of Famer, Bruce Kulick. Tom, Loudcaster, Kulick-tards. Thank you.
Bruce Kulick, huge thanks as always. What an incredible time coming back to Shout It Out Loudcast. Kulick-tards, like you said, unite. And Zeus, as always, my friend, thank you.
Peace out, Girl Scout. Hit the music. What I'd like now is for all you fat, out-of-shape, worldwide kiss-tards to keep the noise down while I show your ladies what a real sexy man looks like.
Listen, all you people out there sitting on rented furniture, settle down.
Cut the music. Anybody seen Richie? Anybody know why Richie did Bobby Lupo?